Hello, gamers. You're listening to the Short Pause Gaming Podcast. This is episode number 126. And welcome back to another edition of the Short Pause Gaming Podcast. I'm Brent Felsing, and joining me tonight, the entire crew, Frankie Ayler, Bender Holt, Ben Boyce. Gentlemen, how are we doing this evening?
Pretty good.
Frankie's just kind of kind of in the middle there?
Yeah.
Yeah? What's going on with you, man? What's new this week?
Well, I've been working for the past 2 weeks straight, so today's my first day off in a while.
Oh.
Slept until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
You know you did.
It was great.
Yeah. But hey, man, make that money, right? Because the fall rush is coming up and all those hours, get that money.
In theory.
Silver linings. Did you get any of those limited run games this past Friday?
Yeah.
What'd you get?
Wonder Boy.
You got Wonder Boy?
Ooh. Got Wonder Boy.
Nice.
Considered... That's exactly why I needed it. I was like, I need to buy this game. So when it gets in, I can just go, Wonder Boy! And hold it up, and Jen will just look at me and tell me to get out. So
That's usually the reaction.
Yeah. So that was cool. I almost didn't buy it because I went to do the whole oil change tire rotation thing, as you do.
Yeah.
Stupidly go to the dealership and so, of course, they bring you a list of, this is some stuff you should do. And I'm just like, cabin air filter. Who cares about that, right? So, and then, she had wiper blades on there. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, I do need new wiper blades. That I know I need. So I was going to tell her to do that. And then she turns the page and she's like, oh, by the way, one of your tires is cracked. I was like, oh, that sounds bad. So she's like, yeah, I would recommend you get a new tire. Because if you let it go, it'll shred eventually. And I'm like, so fine, do the tire. So that was another $150 I wasn't really wanting to spend at the dealership. So yeah, so that was around like 9:30 in the morning or something. So the 10 a.m. batch went up, and I refreshed the page like after she left, and they were already sold out. So 6 o'clock rolls around, and I'm at work, so I'm hoping I wasn't going to be upset if I didn't get one. It is what it is, but the 6 o'clock batch went up, and I'm on my stupid crappy phone with crappy bars at work, and still ended up getting one. So
fantastic,
pretty happy about it.
Fantastic. Good for you, man. At least there was some good things happening this week despite the car issues.
Yeah.
Bender, what's up with you, homie?
Oh, not too much. Same old.
Nothing big happened this week?
No, not really. I mean, just played some games.
Fantastic. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Mr. Boyce, let's go with you.
Everything, dude. Just living the dream,
So, nice.
Perfect.
Another day in paradise.
That's the right attitude.
Everyone at the Short Pause office is having a great week. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. Let's talk about what we've been playing. Bender and Frankie, we're going to start with you guys. You guys played Tacoma. Let's get your thoughts on Tacoma first and foremost. Bender, let's go with you.
I really liked it. I thought it was really cool. Very, very unique game. It's a narrative driven first person thing, kind of like Gone Home, and it's from the same developers. You land on this space station, and you're supposed to go and collect the data from these different terminals to find out what happened to the crew and everything. And the story is told through these holographic projections of the crew. There's 6 members of the crew, so there's 6 different characters that you learn about. So you go in these different areas, and it'll tell you, here's an AR scene that's to play out. So you press the button to start the scene, and the characters will be sitting standing there talking, and then one character will walk away this way and one character will walk away another way, and you kind of choose a character to follow, and you follow and listen to them and see what they say. And then you rewind the scene and go back and you follow another character and you listen to them. They go in another room, and you kind of get to a good scope of what's going on with them, and you learn more about them as individuals, and by the end you know what happened to them and everything. It's just, I thought it was just a really cool way to present a story. And it was a pretty good story, and I liked the characters. The voice acting was awesome. The only bad thing about the game was some performance issues. When you first start the game, the opening scene is very stuttery. There's some serious frame rate issues. For the most part, it's smooth, and then like when you go into to load into a new section of the space station, there's a little bit of hitching while it's loading up the next area, which is fine. But other than that, it seemed pretty smooth. I also had encountered an issue, which I'll talk about just in case anyone else encountered this issue. I downloaded the game, I started it, it goes to the title screen, and it says press A to start. I press A and nothing happened. I restarted the game, did it again, like nothing happened. I'm pressing every button, the game doesn't even start. It just says press A to start the whole time. So I did a little digging, did some research, looked at their Twitter account and everything, and apparently it's a known issue that they are going to come up with a patch for. But in the meantime, they suggested a couple of things. They said, if you have anything but a controller connected to the Xbox, then that can cause this issue. So like if you have a chat pad connected to the controller, if you have the Kinect connected or a headset or anything, they recommend just disconnecting all that stuff and just have the controller. They also recommended doing a hard reset. So I did both of those things. They also mentioned the Xbox app on your phone can also cause the issue.
What?
Somehow. So I don't know when and how the Xbox app connects, so I just deleted it until I got through this. So I did a hard reset on my Xbox, and the next time I loaded up the game, it worked. So if you have that issue, I mean, just try those things, do a hard reset, hold down the power button on the Xbox, and then relaunch the game. It should work, hopefully, but they are going to come up with a patch. But those issues aside, I really like the game. I thought it was cool. It's relatively short. I think it took me 4 to 4.5 hours to get through, and I was trying to explore everything. I was trying to find everything and read all the stuff and all the logs and everything. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a cool game.
Would you say it's is it a good big step from Gone Home? I mean, Gone Home, you enjoyed that. Would you say this is it better than Gone Home, or would you say on the same level?
It is in the mode of storytelling. It is. I'd say it is a big step up from Gone Home, because in Gone Home you just had things to look at. You find things, you read a letter or a postcard or something, or maybe a voicemail message on a phone answering machine or something. And that's the main way it tells a story. And they did a good job with that. But in this, it's a lot more interactive because you're seeing these characters, or at least representations of these characters walking around, interacting with each other. You hear the voice acting, which as I mentioned, is excellent. So it's a lot more immersive in the way that they present the story. So I thought it was really cool.
So better presentation this time around helps drive another excellent story from Fulbright. Cool.
Definitely.
Awesome. Frankie, you played through it as well. Your thoughts?
It was the worst game I've ever played. It was great. Everything Bender said, I'm with him. It was really cool. One of the cool things for me with it was, and I was telling Bender about this when he was going to start the game. I was like, well, when you get to the second area, let me know. I have something cool happened that I want to tell you about. So, throughout the game, you're kind of you're exploring these different areas. So you have biometrics and administrations, and you have all these different office area settings kind of to explore. So within there, there's different locked doors and stuff. So you have key codes you're looking for and stuff. So there's a little bit of that as you're going through there. So the first night that I was playing it, which the technical issues are no joke, by the way. I actually almost didn't play the game because when I started that first area, it was just so stuttery. It's nearly unplayable because you're kind of walking and it's literally skipping forward. So anyways, so I ended up just restarting because I don't know if it had to do with my Xbox being in standby mode, but I went into the menus and there's a reset option in there, so I just reset it that way, and then it seemed to be just fine after that. But anyways, so I'm on this second area, and I'm pretty tired at this point, so I couldn't find one of the passwords. So was like, whatever, I'll worry about this another day. So I saved the game, and I just ended up falling asleep on the couch because I didn't feel like wandering off to bed yet. So, but like sometimes when I fall asleep, if I'm like thinking about a game, like I'll have like a dream or something about it. So like, for whatever reason, like that happened with this, and like one of the rooms I was in, there's a hint, and then there's like something that would give away the password, and like it wasn't until I had that like kind of like dream moment where I woke up, I was like, holy crap. So like I wrote down the thing and I went to bed. So sure enough, I went to resume playing it earlier today, and that was what I needed to do. So that was pretty cool. I was really excited about that. Yeah, I mean it's great. The exploration is really cool. Kind of following around all the characters and ultimately learning what happens with them. It's a great game, great storytelling. The space station is really cool. Outside of the technical issues, of course, but it's just it's a great game. I highly recommend you check it out. Hopefully, if you do, you don't run into a lot of the technical hiccups that we ran into. I don't know how the PC version is, but $20, it's well worth it.
Cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed Gone Home, and obviously it's a talented developer. They're very good at telling stories. I haven't picked up Tacoma, but I'm sure I will at some point based on what you guys are saying here. It sounds like it's another excellent effort by them. So awesome. Good to hear from you guys. Mr. Boyce, Tuesday Night Indie Spotlight, Demetrios, thoughts on that?
Yeah, Demetrios is a point and click adventure game through and through. I mean, it's exactly what you expect from this genre. It's a very mundane story right now. Starring a mundane dude who's like a owner of like an antique shop, and the biggest thing that stands out to Demetrios right now is just it's sort of like raunchy nature. So I was telling you, like, over the course of my like 1 hour playthrough on the Indie Spotlight, I think I pissed in a bush at a police station. I took a picture of my ass on the copy machine while on the copy machine, and then proceeded to be taken to jail because of that. I was knocked out by some guy who broke into my home, and as he knocked me out, I was farting. I just took a shit in my bathroom just for no apparent reason over the course of the stream. So there's a lot of like toilet humor and like really just kind of juvenile stuff in the game. And if that's like your shtick and you get a kick out of that, which I know you will, Brent. That's just you're the mind of an 8-year-old stuck in a 30-year-old's body. But yeah, so some of that stuff is, like I said, it's kind of juvenile, and you either like that stuff or you don't. But the actual game itself, like it's written well enough. It's like I said, it's a point and click adventure game. You're going through, you're clicking on every single thing in the room, reading what the characters say. You're collecting certain items. You have to put them together to figure out how they work and whatnot. So if you like that kind of stuff, and this is like a game you'll probably enjoy. It's supposed to be a long game. It's like a 10-12 hour game or something, I think they're saying. So there's quite a bit of gameplay in here. I didn't finish kind of the first scenario as we were going through the stream there. I had finished up at the police station after we found myself in jail because of my shenanigans there. But yeah, if you can get through like the type of humor in the game, I think there's some interesting stuff going on beneath the hood, and I'm kind of curious to see where Demetrius goes from there, and where the story kind of goes, because I don't really know where it's going to go. But it's a solid game from what I've played overall, and if you're an adventure game fan, I think you'd probably give it a whirl. It's it's on sale for $7.99 right now. It's cross-buy with the Vita, so that's pretty cool. So I don't know how long it's going to be on sale, but at that price, it's probably worth the stab, especially if you're a fan of that genre.
Well, with a captivating character like Bjorn, I mean, how can you not be into this game, dude?
Yeah, I mean, he's an interesting dude, that's for sure.
And you mentioned the juvenile humor. You can actually, you pointed out in the stream, there's a setting within the game that can turn off the toilet humor if you so choose. But why would you? I mean,
why would you?
It's all part of Bjorn's character, and I mean. That game, from what I saw, was really, really fun. It had me on Google trying to find Snow White and the Three Pigs, a copy of that. But
oh yeah, that was
no avail.
That was the other thing. That Bjorn has a porn movie in his collection called Snow White and the Three Pigs, and and you can just imagine what happens in that film when you put it into the DVD player.
He fixes the cable.
Apartment. Yeah. Yeah, so that was another fine moment. The other thing I really like in Demetrius is in each screen there's 3 hidden cookies in the in every single screen that you go to. So like the game starts, you're in his apartment, you're in like the main room of his apartment, then you go into the closet and look in there. So in the main room, there's 3 cookies. In the closet, there's 3 cookies. When you go into the bathroom, there's 3 cookies. When you investigate his bedroom, there's 3 cookies. So each and every screen in the game has 3 hidden cookies on it, and they're very, very, very subtle. So they're tough to kind of pick out. But I thought it was cool to go through each scene and be like, oh, there's a cookie hiding right there, and find one. And there's still one cookie I can't find from my playthrough. But I kind of like that part of it as well. It gives me something extra to do on each area.
Are they oatmeal cookies?
They're chocolate chip.
That's a missed opportunity. If you guys ever heard some disgusting stuff about oatmeal cookies, you'll know why I said that. But no, that game looks actually pretty funny, and the fact that it's cross-buy at the Vita, that's where I would definitely play it, is on the Vitas. So
yeah, it's a great game for the Vita.
That's pretty sweet. So, well, good stuff. A lot of good games you guys played this week. Boys, let's get into these new releases. We got a lot of games coming out this week and a lot of news to talk about.
All right, let's hop into the PlayStation releases, fellas, and we'll start at the top of this list with Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice. So this is a game that they've really kind of ramped up the marketing push for this over the last month or so. We've seen a lot of trailers coming out for the game, a lot of good-looking trailers. We've seen tons of developer diaries. Ninja Theory, I think they've done a good job kind of keeping people abreast of the situation with this game, the development of it, and kind of bringing people along for the ride. There's been several posts on the PlayStation blog as well to get it out there to the PlayStation faithful. So Hellblade coming to both PC and the PS4. We learned recently that the PS4 version will have PS4 Pro support as well. And one of the things I really like from what we've heard of that, and we talked about this, Brent, but it sounds like it's taking kind of the approach that the Surge took to its game. So it's going to give you 2 options. One, the high fidelity option, where you can pick an increased resolution in exchange for a lower frame rate, or you've got the 1080p like 60 frame locked version of the performance version of the game. Which, if you've ever played or seen a Ninja Theory game in 60 frames per second, this is the route that you want to go. So go watch Devil May Cry or DMC on the PC or on the definitive edition on the PS4 or the Xbox One. Like, watch that game at 60 frames per second, and you will know what I'm talking about. And that's the way you're gonna want to play Hellblade. So we we know there's some very heavy themes that are gonna be explored in Hellblade. Hopefully that's something that Ninja Theory is able to tackle and tackle it with a deft hand. So we'll see how that all turns out, but super, super interested in this title. Brent, I know you're really pumped about this one. Talk to me about Hellblade.
Yeah, you talk about the themes they're going to be discussing, mental illness, psychosis. They actually, I watched a couple of those developer diaries, and very interesting stuff. I mean, they brought in some neuroscientists to kind of talk about that. They brought in people who have dealt with this type of thing to really get the feedback. I mean, they're treating it with extra care because they want to be very respectful about it and use it to kind of like flesh out Senua as a character. So a lot of those developer diaries, man, are fantastic. I mean, you really have a whole new appreciation for Ninja Theory and how they're approaching this game, all the stuff they did to make this game possible, and they are really, really interesting. I watched a couple of them today, and they're fantastic. And I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, I've seen the gameplay; it looks good. I still think that trailer we saw last week, the story trailer, is one of the best trailers I've seen in a long time. And for $29.99, you're getting what Ninja Theory is calling an independent AAA game. They're publishing it, but it's AAA presentation. They said that you can expect it to last 6 to 8 hours, so expect a strong narrative, some good gameplay, and for $29.99, you can't go wrong with that. Plus, this is Ninja Theory. We've seen what they're capable of. We're seeing the types of games they can make. There's no reason to expect anything less than an awesome experience.
Yeah, Frankie, Brent hit on something which in my opinion is one of the most interesting aspects of this game, and it's that Ninja Theory is attempting to make an independent AAA experience. So this, if they're able to hit with this, and this is a 6 to 8 hour experience that rivals any other AAA experience we have out there, could something like this, could this usher in like a paradigm shift in in game development? Would we see more studios attempt to do their own AAA production on an independent budget, so to speak? So what do you think about Hellblade, man?
That'd be interesting to see. That's for sure. Like, you start seeing a lot of these independent guys go out there and really start, looking at what it would take for them to make a game like that for that price point instead of, like, the $10 to $15 range.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be really interesting to see. I'd actually be all for it because I really want to dive into Hellblade. I don't know when I will, just because I went with Lawbreakers this week, and I didn't want to get both because I just kind of want to, like, sit down with one this week and just play it. Hellblade probably would have been more ideal just because I do, like, Ninja Theory has, in my opinion, had some really great story-driven games so far. I'm probably in the minority that really love their take on Devil May Cry. I did absolutely love DMC.
There's a lot of people that like DMC. There's a lot of people behind you on that one, I think.
I would hope so, but I think a lot of, like, the diehard, Devil May Cry fans, they really shit on them a lot for that game.
The vocal minority, I think, have expressed their disinterest in the new take on Dante, but for the most part, like, if you're a fan of games, like, you gotta love the way that game turned out. It was it was an action, like, tour de force.
Oh yeah, it was amazing. I love that game, but yeah, I mean, them as a developer though, like, I think they have a very solid track record too. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so I mean, Hellblade, I have no doubt it's going to be excellent. I know, Brent, you were talking about doing a stream, so I'm going to tune in and check that out with you, see what that's all about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be surprised if I end up just pulling the trigger at some point this week and picking it up, but yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to get in there. As the second, you mentioned last week that they had the performance option in there. I was reminded of the way the Surge did it, and just, like, that smooth 60 frames, like, no, maybe half a frame dropped here and there, but I'm not a scientist. I don't recognize that stuff when it happens. So, yeah,
Science.
I'm excited, dude. Like, playing through DMC, I messed around with it on the I think it was the Xbox One version, but whew, night and day difference, man. Playing from the PS3 to the 60 frames, whew, so good. So I can't wait. Just can't wait.
Absolutely. Bender, how do you feel about Hellblade, man? So we look to have a game that kind of reminds me of a early PlayStation 3 title, Heavenly Sword, that Ninja Theory did. It looks like it's gonna follow something similar along those lines, but obviously with some different subject material. What do you think about what you've seen from Hellblade, though?
It's definitely an impressive looking game visually. I think I'll have to watch Brent's stream when he streams it and see if it's going to be something that's up my alley. But yeah, I guess I don't know enough about it. I don't think I've played any of Ninja Theory's other games, so yeah.
Not Bender joints. Not Bender joints.
Yeah.
Fun fact, Ninja Theory involved with the combat in Disney Infinity 3, which is a Bender joint. So you should go play Disney Infinity 3 and experience some Ninja Theory action.
One thing I want to mention too that was pretty cool. Another side note about the game, the character Senua. The actress's name escapes me right now, but she's been with Ninja Theory for a long time. She's actually their main video editor. She edited the trailers for DMC, and she's been Ninja Theory's video editor for a long time. And over the course of the early stages of Hellblade, as they were making stuff, they had her stand in for certain scenes as the main character, but they were still in the process of trying to find a trained actress, like somebody who's actually got acting experience. And throughout the course of that time of preparing, doing the early pre-production stuff, they realized that she had some potential. Like she actually was doing very well, and she has no acting experience. And they went through a couple of takes, and she did super well. And they were just like, you know what? We'll just have you act it out. You're going to be the main character. She's not even an actress. And, from the scenes that I saw in the developer diary, I mean, she's got some range. She has some ability. And it's actually really impressive to see that this girl was just a video editor at one point, and boom, now she's the main protagonist of Hellblade. And she actually looks like she actually does a pretty good job. I thought that was really interesting.
That is interesting.
Nice. That's pretty cool. Yeah. The other thing we've heard about this game is the technology that's gone into it from Ninja Theory. So from going back to this idea that they're trying to make this AAA independent experience, from what I understand, they have technology that wasn't even available in something like Avatar. So their like facial recognition and their capture technology is like next level stuff here that they're doing in this game, which is really interesting for an independent developer. So yeah, so I'm curious to see how that all turns out. So Brent, why don't you let us know what's going on with your stream for this game? What can everybody expect to see here?
Yeah, we're going to do a midnight launch party for Hellblade. It'll be late Monday, early Tuesday at midnight. Short Pause Gaming. I've already got the events set up on YouTube. Go over there. Just you can subscribe to the channel. If you're not quite sure you want to subscribe yet, that's fine. You can actually sign up for a notification for when that video goes live. Come over and check it out. If you like it, subscribe, like it, and whatnot. But yes, 12:01, 12:05-ish. Depending on, sometimes those games are available at midnight, but they take a little while to kick in. So somewhere around midnight, we'll go live. We'll play through about an hour of Hellblade just to check it out and see what it's all about.
Nice. I'm pulling for this game. I hope it turns out well because it looks great. It has a lot of potential. I like Ninja Theory as well, so I'm hoping that this one turns out good. So Tuesday, Hellblade will be upon us on PS4 and on the PC if you decide to go that route. Now, moving on from there, another Tuesday release this week is Lawbreakers. It's Cliffy B's new joint, Boss Key Productions' first game. A gravity-defying, like, multiplayer, very fast-paced shooter. I personally didn't get a chance to jump into the beta, but you did, Franklin. You've played a little bit of Lawbreakers. You've gone ahead and kind of stuck your cart with this horse here. Would you talk to us a little bit about Lawbreakers, man?
Very fast-paced game. I'm not really too familiar. I know he worked on, I think it was Unreal Tournament, right? That was one of his earlier arena things. So,
yep.
It's kind of cool seeing him get back to, I guess it would be his roots, right? At this point. So, yeah, very fast-paced. It's a lot of, I don't want to necessarily compare it to Overwatch, but it's like objective, team-based gameplay. So very, very heavily reliant on being able to communicate with your team. I think there are 7 or 8 different class types, so each of them kind of play differently. You have like your big tanky characters, you have like your assassin that's a little more nimble, can move around the map a lot faster. The character that I'm probably going to main is the Wraith, just because I felt like I was getting more kills with him and kind of getting around a lot easier. I think he had like a triple jump or something too, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, I think it's launching with 3 game modes, which I think they had them all in the beta, which, trying them out was pretty cool. The battery extraction one's probably my favorite. So you like a battery will spawn in the middle of the map, and then each team's kind of rushing out there. The middle of the map is like a no gravity zone, so everyone's kind of flying around all over the place. You shoot somebody with your rocket launcher, you're going to be propelled backwards. So you have all kinds of different things to kind of keep in mind as you're playing the game. I think some of the characters can actually like shoot behind them. So when you're carrying the battery back to your base, you can kind of blind fire behind you, if someone's chasing you. So, but yeah, it's from what they had in the beta, it's all like objective, so no team deathmatch. I don't know if that's going to be in there or not, but I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, that game seems like it has a lot of potential. I had a lot of fun with it, enough to once the beta, because I didn't do the open beta that they ran a couple weeks ago. I just got into the closed beta, back, it was early last month, so got in there, had a really good time with it, and decided, I could totally see myself playing this game a lot, so I plopped down the $30. So I'm probably going to stream some of it. I don't know when yet, but probably going to get in there, I don't know, Wednesday, Thursday, sometime middle of the week. Fire up stream.
Cool.
Watch me do just awful. It'll be great.
So mobility is a big part of this game, right, Frankie? The way you get your character around from point A to point B. So how does that kind of work between the different characters?
Depending on who you're playing as, some of them kind of move slower. I don't remember there being a dedicated sprint button. So if you're playing, I don't remember the name of the class, but there's a guy who has like a big minigun. Like he moves pretty slow, but does a lot of damage once you get him into, a room. So like as you're kind of heading back to your base, there's like your main place where you're dropping a battery or like a goalpost that you're like dragging the ball to for that. I don't remember the name of their ball mode, but essentially you have like this big open area in the middle that's no gravity, so you have all that to worry about. But then once you're getting to, like objective zones, it's these kind of bigger, open rooms. So you're it's really just kind of getting across the map and getting over there. And most of the time, like the maps aren't huge. But if you're playing as like I said, that bigger tanky guy, it takes you a little longer to get over there, and you're probably gonna die before you get over there if you're me. So, but yeah, I mean, like there's characters like you get in that 0G and like you can they got the Wraith. He has that triple jump. So if you're in the 0G, you can kind of get up higher, so you can go around, come down in the back, and like get in from that way. Like there's a lot of entries like layered, just because you can like work with gravity, and like there's boost pads and kinds of cool stuff like that. So
nice. So you mentioned there's 3 game modes. So you talked about the battery mode. You mentioned this goalpost ball mode. So what exactly are the other modes that are available?
I think the other one was like a capture the flag.
Okay.
I think. I don't remember the other one. I know I only played one of them. It was very similar to the other one, but the ball one's kind of similar to the battery one. So like this ball spawn in the middle. So you're trying to get it to a goalpost, and I think you can drop it like twice because you have a timer on you to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So once the timer expires, the ball goes back to the middle, and I think it's like the first team to 6 points wins. And the battery extraction one, this is my favorite one, is so you have the battery spawning in the middle. You bring the battery back to your team, and then the battery has to charge. So you get the battery charge to 100%. You have to defend it, mind you. So the battery's charging. You have it in this big open room that the enemy team is rushing into to try to take the battery and get back to their base. So you're trying to kind of make sure that they don't steal it while it charges. If they do grab it, you can grab it, bring it back, and I think it resumes charging from where it left off. So, but yeah, it's really, really intense too. With these kind of big open rooms, you have all these people kind of flocking in from these different angles. So once they drop down, like it's just absolute chaos. It's awesome.
Nice. So this is like a really fast-paced game, right? Is there like quick time to kills? Are you just constantly like mowing through people and moving from area to area? Like is it kind of like a Quake or Unreal Tournament in terms of its like pace?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, if you're good at the game and actually able to hit your targets, yeah, you can get killed pretty quickly. That much I do know is a fact. But there's people who you get into the zero gravity area. You got guys just hovering around, just mowing you down the second you get out there, like playing defense as people are coming in to like grab a battery or grab a ball or anything. Like people who have actually kind of already mastered the controls for getting in there and actually like being good at the zero gravity stuff. That's probably where a lot of people are going to excel at the game.
Nice. Yeah, sounds like a really cool game. I like from what I've seen, and Cliffy has been adamant that look, this is a 60 frames game. That's the type of shooter that he wants to make. So this game will run at 60 frames. He has mentioned before that he doesn't want to charge more than $30 for this game because it's multiplayer only. So it's a $30 game. So all that sounds pretty good from a gamer standpoint. Brent, where's your interest in Lawbreakers lie?
I have a lot of interest in it, actually. I've talked to Frankie about it multiple times. I played the alpha on PC. I didn't get a chance to touch the beta. I think maybe once or twice I got to hop in there. But from when I played the alpha, it's a cool concept. It's fast paced. I like that it is more objective based than just go out and not team kill. Jeez, go out and do team deathmatch. But no, it's a fun looking game. I like the different types of characters, the different abilities and whatnot. It's just Hellblade is taking precedence right now, and I'll definitely look at firing up Lawbreakers at some point.
Yeah.
Cool.
The big thing with that game though is there is definitely a learning curve to all the characters.
Yeah,
and there were no tutorials in the beta, so it was really just kind of running in there and trying to figure out what everybody does. And I still don't really have a grasp on half the classes. So I don't know if the final game is going to ship with a tutorial or something to really explain to you like your role as this character. I know they had some text screens, but I mean like actually getting in there and playing it and kind of seeing firsthand like, oh, okay, this is what I got to be doing with this guy. That's would probably be more ideal.
See, that's one thing that Overwatch did well at the beginning. Before you jumped in and played the multiplayer, they had like a tutorial area that was like it was full of bots. And you could run around, try the different characters and their abilities in certain situations. So if they can get something like that into Lawbreakers, especially because it's multiplayer only, it'll make it a little bit more accessible to help out with that steep learning curve.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I can't stand when they do stuff like this. They have these like multiplayer games and they don't put a training mode or something in there. So
especially when you have characters that are so diverse, they're so different, and they all play differently. A tutorial or something like that goes a long ways.
Yeah. I hate when you have to like trial by fire with those because you just jump in there and you can never learn because everybody else is already good at the game. So you just jump in there and you're just like, what in the hell is going on here? Like, how do I even use this guy? So
especially when it's team based like this and you're that out there,
like,
dude, what are you using your super now for?
I don't know. I hit the button.
It charged. I didn't know what it did.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good point. So hopefully there's something like that in Lawbreakers. Evolve was another game that did that well as well, teaching you
Yeah.
how
Yep.
to use your characters before you jumped in there, because each character had a specific role in that game as well. So let's hope something like that's in Lawbreakers. That'll be out this Tuesday, once again on PS4 and on PC. Moving on with this list, another big title hitting this week is Batman: The Telltale Series Season 2 getting underway. So it's titled The Enemy Within, and Episode 1, The Enigma. This season looks to have a heavy focus on a Riddler, a sadistic Riddler, who's much darker than any version of the Riddler that we've ever seen before. In fact, if the Riddler had ever showed up in a Christopher Nolan Batman movie, I often pictured him being something like what we've seen in the trailer for this game here, a kind of dark, almost serial killer-esque kind of take on the Riddler. So there looks to be a lot of stuff going on this season. Bender, you're a big fan of the first season of Batman: The Telltale Series. I really need to get in here and play this damn game, because I'm a shitty fan for not having done so at this point. But talk to me about the Enigma, man, with episode 1 here.
Yeah, I can't wait to play it. I haven't actually seen the trailer yet, but I'm sold already. So I'm definitely going to be playing this thing. I've really enjoyed their take on the whole Batman franchise. They took made some interesting. It was an interesting interpretation on the.
They took some liberties, right?
Yeah,
with the franchise.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, the story goes places that you don't expect it to, and the characters are different than what you expect from the traditional Batman lore, but they do it in a way that's really cool and really respectful of the franchise, and it just worked for me. I thought it was awesome. The voice acting was great, so yeah, everything was really, really cool. Other than a few technical issues, but that's to be expected. In Telltale games.
Eyeballs.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what they do with this season, and I'm sure it'll be great. So yeah, I can't wait to check it out.
Yeah, I heard nothing but praise for the first season outside of the technical issues. Just watching this trailer for season 2, I was like, man, this looks freaking epic. I really need to play this. We see it's interesting that we see the Joker in this trailer as well, and the current storyline in the Batman comic books right now is the war of jokes and riddles, which involves the Joker and the Riddler. So they're both making an appearance here as well. Franklin, I know you're excited about season 2 of the Batman series. Are you gonna hop in with episode 1 here? What do you think? You gonna wait?
I'm gonna wait, just because I don't trust Telltale to stick to a schedule with these. I'm pretty sure they fell off of one with Guardians. So when episode 5
they
is
stuck
coming
to it with Batman, though, right? Batman held a consistent schedule the first time around.
Yeah, it's the first time around. But since then, I don't think anything they've done since then has. So I don't even think Minecraft Stories or Season 2 has. I don't think The Walking Dead Season 3 did. So no, I'm not chancing it. Even if they kind of start to, if they deviate and I lose track, especially after, we're in August now, so you start getting into, releasing more episodes in like past October. That's a dangerous territory to, take a break from playing, episode 2 or 3 or whatever they have out at that time to then resume later on. So I'd rather sit down and just play through them all in, a day with Jen. So I'm going to wait.
Mm-hmm.
Probably go on sale 3 or 4 times in that time too, because that's always pissed me off.
At this point, we know that Telltale season passes are going to go on sale. It's what they do. It's part of their business model. So if you're one of those people that wants to get in at ground zero and you want to play stuff on the first day, then you either fork out for the episode or you buy the season pass right up front. But we all know at some point there's going to be a sale, some kind of PSN or Xbox Live digital sale, and the season pass is going to be on sale for at least 50% off, if not more.
Yeah, before the season's even fully out. So
long before the season is finished.
That's the part that always gets me. I'm just like, you kidding me?
A season pass disc will be available in October as well. So I'm wondering, do you think that means anything, Frankie, in terms of their release schedule for this game?
Episode 2 will be out in October.
Gotcha. So, so episode 1 starting this week, and the big elephant in the room with this is obviously Destiny 2. So, Destiny 2 going to come out right in the middle of this storyline, so that's going to make it even more difficult to keep up with these episodes as they come out. So, might be a better idea just to wait for them all to come out. Next on this list, guys, a game I'm very excited for, and that's Mega Man Legacy Collection Part 2. So, Part 2 of the Legacy Collection is an interesting collection because it houses Mega Man 7 and Mega Man 8. Mega Man 7 was a Super Nintendo game. It was a 16-bit game. I remember renting this back when renting stuff was a thing. And Mega Man 8 was a PS1 game. So we span the 16-bit, 32-bit eras of Mega Man here. A lot of Mega Man's 32-bit years were spent in the Mega Man X franchise on the PlayStation 1. So hopefully we get a collection of those at some point. Then Mega Man 9 and 10 were PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 games. But they harkened back to the old Mega Man games like Mega Man 2. That was kind of the blueprint for those games when they made them. So a very interesting collection of games here. Mega Man 7 and 8 are very kind of... They have their critics in the Mega Man community. So I've never actually played through either one of those. So I'm kind of looking forward to getting in there and kind of playing through and seeing how they play out. But they're a little bit different than some of the other Mega Man games. There are some people that don't enjoy those games as much as the other ones, but I'm curious to see how they turn out. And Mega Man 9 and 10 are universally praised. I've never actually sat down and played through 9 and 10 as well when they came to the PlayStation 3. So I'm looking forward to doing that as well.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but 9
yes.
and 10 didn't have trophies.
9 did not have trophies. 10 did have trophies. So, yes, you are correct there, partially. Half correct. We'll give you half credit. It's be like E3 scoring rules. You get half a point. Yeah. This first time we'll be able to get Mega Man 9 trophies on a PlayStation platform. And funny you mentioned trophies here. But the one thing that I don't understand with this game is there is no platinum trophy in Mega Man Legacy Collection 2.
Ooh.
Now, Franklin, the first Mega Man Legacy Collection was fucking hard to get the 100% of that game. To go through and get all of like the gold medals on the challenges that were in that game, that was insane. A feat I still haven't accomplished and maybe never will because it's very, very difficult. So the fact that you have to go through that to get 100% in the Legacy Collection, I thought to myself, you know what, self? Capcom has to have seen the error of their ways with the first Mega Man Legacy Collection. They're like, man, we put together this tough-ass trophy list, and we didn't give these guys a platinum. You know what? Mega Man Legacy Collection 2, clean slate. We're gonna remedy this. We're gonna bring out a new trophy list. It's gonna be just as tough, but you know what? There's gonna be a nice shiny platinum at the end of that stick. Nope. Capcom just slapped us right in the face once again, and have once again not given us a platinum trophy.
You'll like your gold. You'll like your gold trophy, and that's
no, it's probably a bronze trophy too.
Oh
Yeah.
no!
What are you doing here, Capcom? Like, what are you doing? Like, seriously,
That's kind of
what is going on with this trophy list here? I know there were people that wanted a platinum, and there were people screaming from the hilltops about it with the first Legacy Collection. So why in the hell you didn't do it with the Legacy Collection 2? I don't know. So
It's
that's where we're
baffling,
at.
though, boys. Think about this: Mega Man Legacy Collection 2 doesn't have a platinum, but Hannah Montana does.
Crazy.
What's going on with this world?
You know what else does? My Name is Mayo has a platinum trophy. My Name is Mayo has a platinum trophy, but Mega Man Legacy Collection 2 doesn't, which is sure to have a piss hard trophy list, I'm sure. Just like the first collection did. But that said, they really put a lot of care into the first Legacy Collection. It was a supremely well done collection of games. It was pixel perfect emulation of the NES games, glitches and everything and all. It was just exactly the way we remember those games on the current gen consoles. The challenge mode that they did was truly awesome. The way they remixed all the games, put together these challenges was fantastic. The museum mode with all the concept art and the soundtracks for every single game. It was just a very well done package, and I'm expecting that here for the Legacy Collection too. And once again, I've said this a million times, but I'm going to say it here again. I'm hoping that the next time we see the Legacy Collection in effect, we are getting a Mega Man X collection at this point. So the logical thing is start with X 1, 2, and 3, the Super Nintendo games. So let's put together the Mega Man Legacy X or the Mega Man X Legacy Collection, and then we can hit up part 2 of that with some of the other X games from the PS1 era. Maybe even throw the PS2 games in there as well. So, Mega Man Legacy Collection coming out this Tuesday. I'll be picking it up. Can't wait to hop in there and play some more Mega Man action because I really did enjoy the Legacy Collection. All right, moving on from there. The title that we'll feature on the Tuesday Night Indie Spotlight this week is Graceful Explosion Machine, a game I've been looking forward to for a while. It's on the Switch right now. I didn't get a chance to play it on the Switch, but it's kind of a spaceship shooter. It has elements of like Resogun in it. It's a game I've been really interested in for a long time. So I can't wait to fire that up on the Spotlight this week. Should be an action-packed show. So that'll be Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel. So you're already subscribing to it so you can watch Brent stream. So make sure that you stick around for the Tuesday Night Indie Spotlight, 10 p.m. Eastern. Hop in there. We'll talk about the game. Any guys play this on the Switch by chance? No. Nobody got a chance to play it? Okay, cool. So yeah, we'll fire that up, see what it's all about. But like I said, I'm really interested in that game. I love like shoot 'em ups like this, so this is definitely something right up my alley. Another game that looks to be right up my alley is Icy. I hadn't heard of this game until a couple days ago, Brent. But this is like a side-scrolling hack and slash game. Looks beautiful. It's got this really cool animated style about it. It looks almost like to incorporate some, like Bayonetta or like Ninja Theory type of elements to the combat. It's like this very combo heavy, action combat system. And the really interesting thing about this game as well is how you can adjust the story, or they encourage you to ignore the narrator. So, for instance, the thing that the example they used in the blog post here was if the guy's telling you to move to the left, like there's an arrow pointing you to move that way on the screen as a normal side scroller does, like you go the other way, you ignore this guy. And apparently this is going to open up some different story possibilities or maybe even unlock some secrets with the way this game plays out. So it's an interesting concept in terms of you versus the narrator, who's a kind of a character off screen in this game. So curious to see how that works, but the combat system looks really good in this game. Really like what I've seen of this game. Would you agree, Brent?
Yeah, it's a beautiful art style. It looks really cool, and I like how they have this unique take on the story. Like you said, you kind of just do the opposite of what the narrator suggests. It's little things like that help set games apart, kind of give it this crux that most other games wouldn't even think about doing. So, yeah, very intriguing title.
Yeah, definitely. So Icy will be out this Tuesday. I believe that's coming over to the PC as well. Cinemora EX. So this is the kind of upgraded Grasshopper side-scroller, which reminds me of Einhander, which is a game I loved on PlayStation 1. Frankie, have you played this before?
Never have. Really want to, though.
Yeah. Very cool-looking game. The other neat thing about this one is it has PlayStation 4 Pro support, and it runs at 4K 60 frames on the Pro. So this is going to be a really beautiful game. I'm sure on the other platforms as well, but especially on that machine at 4K 60, which is going to be awesome. So I really do want to fire this game up. I love side-scrolling shooters. It's a genre we don't get to see too much of anymore, but I really like what I've seen of this one. Neon Drive coming out this week. This is a kind of a racer with some cool graphical styles about it. Masquerada Songs and Shadows, the pretty cool looking like Baldur's Gate-esque RPG, dungeon crawling style RPG. That one looks pretty good from what I've seen of it. Armello getting a deluxe edition this week, which I assume contains the game and all the content that they've released for it. Bender, did you ever get around to playing Armello?
Never did. No,
never did.
I was interested in it, but I never checked it out.
Yeah, curious about that game. It always looks really cool, but I don't know anybody that's actually played it yet. Black Hole Complete Edition looks like a punishing gravity-based, like a puzzle platformer. It almost looks like it has some elements of like Super Rude Bear, but in a more like puzzle setting. So that looks like an interesting title. Comet Crash 2 is a tower defense game, the Croncoid Wars. So pick that up this week if you like those. Arcade Archives Neo Geo Aero Fighters 2 is available now. We missed that one last week. A couple other things that are available now. Titanfall 2 got an Ultimate Edition, so that's on the PlayStation Store now. If you want to pick that game up with some of the skins or whatever that you get with this. The Sexy Brutale getting its Full House Edition this week at retail. Frankie, this only available at GameStop from what I understand. So,
yep. Pick it up. $30 soundtrack. I think you get an art book with it. I
Yeah.
imported this forever ago because I didn't know it was going to come out here, so
Mhm.
I'm not getting this. But if you haven't played that game, it is incredible. I highly recommend it. So pick it up.
Yeah, it got delayed a little bit, but it is coming out this week for sure. So grab it from your local GameStop on Tuesday. Overwatch starting its Summer Games event back up this week. So they did this last year, and they're doing it again this year. So Lucio Ball will return, and some of the other different skins and different things that you can earn for being a part of this. The NHL 18 beta is actually going on right now. We missed this last week. It's available until August 8th. So if you're listening to this, download it quickly. You won't have much time to play it. Ghost Recon Wildlands, the 5-hour trial, is available now as well. So if you're curious about that game. Surf World Series has a demo available now. And Shadow Tactics, another game that's got a demo now. Brent, you spent a little bit of time with this one. I know you said it's pretty cool on the console, right?
Yeah, it's got a steep learning curve in terms of the controls. Obviously, on PC, it's more ideal with the keyboard and mouse maneuvering around the map. But they found a way to kind of get those controls in there. You basically hold down R2 and then use the sticks to kind of turn the map around and rotate it. But it's a very cool real-time tactics game. I really enjoyed it on PC. I liked what I played on PS4. But it does take a little getting used to with the controls. But one thing that's really cool about the settings, and I thought it was just on the Pro, but it's also on the base model PS4, and I'm sure it's the same way on Xbox One. You can change the VSync. You can change it from 30. You can cap it at 60, or you can go uncapped, which is kind of like, I don't know why you'd want to go uncapped. I mean, I'd want to stay at 60.
It locks at 60 pretty much.
On the VSync, yeah, it says it locks at 60. Now, obviously, it runs much
strange
better.
They would have uncapped, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they have uncapped in there, but no, it's a cool feature to have. I ran it on the Pro. I played it with 60 frames there. Didn't notice any kind of like obvious hitches.
Nice.
But no, if you're into like real time tactics, it's kind of a forgotten genre. And around stealth gameplay, and there's like 5 different characters that you can control during your missions, all of them with different abilities, different ways to attack people, and it's a game that requires a lot of patience, but it's a very rewarding experience. And from what I've played so far on console, it's made a nice jump over to consoles from PC, despite the steep learning curve with the controls.
Nice. Now that the Pro's been out for a few months now, and developers are starting to use it more and get their head around it, we're starting to see more and more like 60 frames games pop up here and there from different developers who are taking advantage of it. So I hope that trend continues, and we continue to see more and more of them kind of taking advantage of what's possible at the 1080p level.
And I want to mention this, and I know Frankie will probably want to chime in on it, but like I've noticed that when I play a game like The Surge, and I play it in 4K with the what's it called, a quality mode or whatever it is, and then you go to the what's the other mode? It's performance mode. It's really hard to just to notice a big enough difference with the resolution between whether it's checkerboard 4K or 4K or above 1080p or going back to 1080p. I think that frame rate, man, is where it's really more impressive for games. I would definitely take a 60 frame 1080p image over a 4K, a very crisp, beautiful image that's capped at 30 frames. I just think frame rate is more appealing on the eyes when you're playing a game, not only from visuals but also from like a gameplay perspective. So I like the fact that they're adding in that ability. Here, you can play it at 60 frames, so it's 1080p. Hey, I have a 4K monitor. If I want to play a game at 4K, I can do that. If I want to watch movies in 4K, I can do that. But at some games, if I can see it at 60 frames and go down to 1080p, I'll do it. It's fine. It's not going to bother me any at all. I like the frame rate. I like a silky smooth frame rate.
Yeah, I'm with you. I have a friend who has a 4K monitor, so I've seen a couple of the the 4K things. He actually he bought. I didn't make him buy the Surge, but I highly recommended he pick up the Surge. So I did kind of get to see that one in the 4K. I don't know what it is, if it's native or if it's 1800. I don't care, whatever. But like you, we did that, and then we go to the performance mode, and I'm just like, I don't know. It's just like playing that especially that game in particular. The 60 frame 1080p mode is the way to play that game. That's the experience you want to have with that kind of game. Now, I don't know, like across the board, like where, if there's certain genres that are more beneficial to be in 4K 30. But I know for me personally, if 60 frames is an option, that's what I want. I think games we get now already look fantastic. You know, like you don't really have a lot of these kind of, you know, blocky, you know, like early gen like looking stuff. You know, when we came into this generation, like firing up Assassin's Creed Black Flag, that game compared to like Syndicate hasn't aged very well. So just like seeing where developers have already come with, you know, the tech that we have available now, the resolution bump between 4K and 1080, it's just, if, in my opinion, it's not enough, especially, you know, considering if I can have a performance boost instead, I would rather, you know, they put the resources into that.
And like, I'm not trying to downplay 4K. I mean, like looking games like Horizon Zero Dawn at 4K, when you play that, I mean, it's a beautiful looking game. I mean, it looks fantastic in 4K. I appreciate the cleaner image. And even the Destiny 2 beta, I mean, that ran at 30 frames and it was a beautiful looking game. And I appreciate the 4K image. But I also do appreciate, hey, look, I want to play this game with a smoother frame rate. I'll sacrifice the 4K. That's fine. But at the same time, I'm not trying to downplay 4K. I mean, 4K is a beautiful, beautiful image. But when it comes down between image quality and performance, I'm going to lean towards performance most times.
I think there's certain genres too that would maybe would lend themselves to a 4K like 30 image better than other genres. I think for the most part though, when it comes down to it, I think most game genres probably benefit from having a 60 frame rate as opposed to a 30 frames. So yeah, and that'll just continue to get more and more, and I imagine that's going to be the thing once we get to the official next generation, right? It's going to be 4K 60. Like that's going to be the buzz of that these console makers are throwing out. At least that's what I would assume. That's the point that we'll get to when we see the eventual PlayStation 5 and Xbox 2 or whatever becomes of that. So yeah, definitely. And then one thing for the PSVR this week, that's a Neptune Flux, an undersea adventure game, which actually looks pretty neat. So we'll see how that one turns out. Franklin, you've got some information about the limited run games for us this week, headlined by an old Sega CD classic that's making a reappearance.
Yeah. So before we get to that one, this Friday, The Bunker. This is that
The Bunker.
kind of, yeah. It's, what is that, like a live action adventure game?
Yeah, it's like a full motion video. It's really like playing a movie. It's actually a really cool game.
Yeah. I
It's
know they went on
live actors and everything.
Yeah. So I think it's the developers behind Late Shift. So that seems to kind of be the medium that they're sticking to. So that's cool. But if you want to pick up a physical version of The Bunker, a limited run will have 3,700 copies available on Friday. But the reason you're probably going to want to hit it up on Friday, though, is for Night Trap. The classic Sega CD game is getting a limited retail release through them exclusively. So I'm going to go ahead and guess that, like Wonder Boy, this one is going to go fast. So if you desperately want to get a copy of Night Trap, get in there Friday morning. 10 a.m.'s first batch, 6 p.m.'s the second batch. Limited to just 5,000 copies. There is a collector's edition that's limited to 3,000 copies. So if you're feeling ballsy and brave, go for it. I will tell you from experience, if you desperately just want to secure a copy of this game in some form, don't go for the collectors. Just go straight for your standard copy. Another thing to note is what they've been doing. The first run of these, the 10 a.m. batch, they do have like a limit 2 per customer. So if you want to buy one for yourself and one for fun and profit, that's probably the time to do it, assuming you can get one. But typically, because people have been getting really pissed about missing some of these, especially Wonder Boy, they've been removing the two per person and dropping it to 1. So I have to pick one up for a friend, so I'm hoping that I'm able to grab 2 in the morning. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Night Trap and The Bunker this Friday.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Franklin, but Night Trap is only available through limited run games, as far as we know right now. It's not going to be on PSN anytime soon.
It will. It'll be on PlayStation Network, Xbox Live, and I think Steam on the 15th. So actually, it's getting a digital release next week.
Oh, okay. So it'll be at the same time then. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So yeah, and
that would suck.
Yeah,
that was the only way to get that game.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if I thought it was only coming there for first, but maybe it was early. Yeah,
it was an early thing, but I think they put out a new trailer. I think it was last week actually, because it was at the time I was listening to the show last week when they had announced platforms and a date. So,
Gotcha. Now, I'm old enough to remember the Night Trap debacle when that game came out. But yeah, it's funny. It's probably very tame by today's standards. I've never actually played the game, but from what I understand, it's not a very good game. But it's a game that it just has a particular place in history because of its kind of hoo-ha that was made about it at the time when it came out, and its kind of centerpiece as a video game that Congress was attacking for its content. So I've always wanted to experience though, just to see what it's all about. So maybe I'll try and secure a copy of that. We'll see.
I had a copy on the Sega CD, and I remember when I played at the time, like I didn't appreciate it. Yeah, so I didn't like it that much because I couldn't like playing it back then and like having access to like I think at the time I had a PS2, so like, having access to games that played a lot better. Like playing this one just was like ugh.
Yeah. From what I understand, it's a terrible game. So,
yeah.
So don't go in expecting to get this game and it's some like all-time classic that you just have to play. But it's got a special place in gaming history, so that's why a lot of people are going to be interested in that one.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. So thanks for that info, Franklin. Let's bang through the rest of these releases now. So coming to the Xbox One, available right now. Arcade Archives Neo Geo Aero Fighters 2, of course, available on there. Vostok Inc. is also available now. We missed that one last week. Coming to the platform this week, Black Hole the Complete Edition and Mega Man Legacy Collection 2 will be available both digital and at retail. Masquerada Songs and Shadows is coming over there. Batman the Enemy Within Episode 1 The Enigma will, of course, be on the Xbox One this week. Cinemora EX will be on there on Tuesday. And on Friday, Jump Step Step, which is a puzzle platformer kind of a game. That'll be out Friday on the platform. A couple things that are available now. The Titanfall 2 Ultimate Edition is on the Xbox One as well. The NHL 18 beta is also on there running until August 8th. The Ghost Recon Wildlands trial is available over there. And, of course, the Overwatch Summer Games event running over there starting Tuesday as well. And moving on to Nintendo. What we missed last week for the Switch. Use Your Words, a game we've seen previously on the PS4 and I think on the Xbox One. That's the one where you kind of use your phone and do different quirky stuff in a multiplayer setting. Yeah, that's available on the Switch now. Strikers 1945, the old vertical shoot 'em up game, is available on the eShop now. Puzzle Adventure Blockles on there for $8, and Gun Barrage is also on the eShop now for $7.99. Coming this week to the platform, a very, very cool looking title in Phantom Trigger. This is a tiny build game. I believe this is part of was part of their Nindies presentation. Can't remember 100% though. But this is a sweet looking game. Like if you took Hyper Light Drifter and combined it with, I don't know, like a Bayonetta or one of these like action games, Phantom Trigger would be the result of that. So high octane action, lots of enemies on the screen, lots of cool moves that you can do. Looks to be pretty intense in terms of its combat. Really, really like what I've seen of this game. This will be available on Thursday for $14.99. Brent, have you seen this game?
I haven't. No.
Yeah, looks badass. Don't know when it's going to be coming to other platforms, but it looks really, really cool. So if you have a Switch and you're looking for a title this week, definitely check out Phantom Trigger from our friends at Tiny Build. Also this week on the Switch, Ironcast is a Thursday title. It's a game we've seen on other platforms previously. This is that one that mixes mech combat and like real-time strategy. I think there's a match 3 aspect to this game as well. So lots of stuff going on with Ironcast. And Flip Wars is a online or local co-op, not sure which one it is, multiplayer, like 4-player battle game.
Switch game?
Switch game. Yep.
Probably local co-op.
Yeah. That would be my guess as well. we know how online is working on there currently. On the Wii U, nothing to talk about. What we missed last week for the 3DS, Voxel Maker. It's a $5 title. It's on the eShop now. And Eliminate Original will be on there this week for $19.99. Brent, I pass the baton to you now, my friend.
Much appreciated, Mr. Boyce. Thanks for going for the new releases. Lots of good stuff this week.
Yeah, awesome week for games.
Yeah, make
Lots
sure you
of cool
check
stuff.
out, subscribe to the Short Pause Gaming YouTube channel. Again, we'll be streaming Hellblade Monday night at 12:05 a.m. Tuesday morning. We'll be streaming Hellblade. Tuesday night, we got the Tuesday Night Indie Spotlight, which will be Graceful Explosion Machine. And then possibly during the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Frankie will be firing up Lawbreakers. So we'll have a lot of good content on our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe there, Short Pause Gaming. We're going to take a quick break. We've got some music here from Ruel Ethan, and we'll be right back. And welcome back. Thanks again to Ruel Ethan for providing the music for this podcast. He does the opening, the closing, the music you just heard. Follow him on Twitter at Ruel Ethan. Check out his music on SoundCloud and iTunes. All right, guys, let's get into the news. And first up, I want to take a moment here to pay our respects to Corey Gaspur of Bioware. He was Anthem's lead designer and a designer on the original Mass Effect trilogy. He passed away tragically this week, and obviously this was a major shock throughout the industry. And BioWare had this to say. This was the statement they gave out. It is with great sadness that we announce the passing of our friend and colleague, Corey Gaspur. He was a member of our team for over 9 years and worked as a designer on many of our titles, including Sonic Chronicles, Dragon Age Origins, Mass Effect 2 and 3, and most recently Anthem. Corey was a talented designer and an even better person. We offer our condolences to Corey's family and everyone that knew him. We'll miss you. Corey is survived by his life partner, I believe her name is Laura, and his 4-year-old son, Kane. Obviously, there's not a lot of details about what happened to Corey. I'm sure that's going to remain private with the family. But guys, we talk about the gaming industry, and we always hear fanboys arguing about resolution and whatnot, but it's things like this that kind of puts everything into perspective. I mean, life matters more than everything else. And for all intents and purposes, we lost a good one, a very talented young man. Obviously, from the pictures we've seen, he's far too young to have passed on. But I don't know. Quick words. Anything you want to say, boys?
Just want to pay my condolences to his family and friends. Obviously, something like this is incredibly tragic, especially when you're dealing with family members and especially like young children being involved in this. Kane. He probably doesn't even comprehend like what's going on with what's happened to his dad, and he may not for some time. So incredibly tragic that he's lost his father at a young age, and they have set up a you caring fund for Kane. So if that's something you're interested in, you can seek that out and donate to that as well. But I know they've raised a lot of money through that to kind of to help with Kane's future. So that's awesome. I know a lot of the people in the industry have come together around that. yeah, just a young guy who's taken before his time, obviously incredibly talented, working on many of BioWare's best games. And then Anthem obviously looks incredible, a game that he was the lead designer on. So he was a huge part of the BioWare family. And he'll be missed by them certainly, but also by the gamers who have enjoyed his time. But yeah, just tragic condolences once again to his family and friends. It's tragic that something like this happened.
Mm-hmm. Frankie, what's it like when you hear stories like this? I mean, how it kind of puts things into perspective. The gaming industry and gaming in general is kind of this hectic world, but when something like this happens, it really kind of puts things into perspective.
Yeah, it really does. That's terrible. Like you said, taken away too soon. And again, like Boy said, condolences to his family. It's a hard loss.
Mm-hmm. Bender, what's your take, man? You want to say anything?
Yeah, it's definitely sad. I mean, we were trying to find out how old he was because he looks very young in the pictures we see. Way too young to, like Ben said, way too young to be passing away like this. But it's really sad, especially leaving a young son behind, and obviously he was a talented guy, and the gaming industry suffered a loss. So yeah, we definitely send our thoughts out to his family.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure BioWare will make sure his vision for Anthem continues on, and it'll be a part of the final product. But it's just it's devastating. Obviously, a talented young man, and the hardest thing for myself when I read something like this is obviously about hearing about his 4-year-old son, like you mentioned, Boyce. He's 4 years old. I mean, he's probably not even going to remember this, and it's something that he probably can't comprehend. He just knows his dad's not there anymore. Mm-hmm. And when you think about that kind of stuff, it especially being a father, I can't imagine what my kids would be going through right now if I were to suddenly go. And thinking about that stuff it's heart aching, and it really just puts things into perspective, and you learn to appreciate every single damn minute you have on this earth, spending times with your loved ones and your family, and you just got to try to better yourself and make sure you're in the best shape that you can be, and be as healthy as you can, because man, even then it doesn't matter. I mean, when it's time to go, it's time to go. Yep. So like these guys said, we send our condolences to the whole Gaspur family, to his coworkers, to his friends. Our thoughts and prayers are with you, and you will be missed, sir. So we just wanted to clear that up and talk about that for just a moment. Now we'll power our way through the news here. We'll stick with BioWare. BioWare Montreal has merged with Motive. EA has officially confirmed this. Their statement was read like this, quote, "The teams in EA Worldwide Studios are packed with talent, and more than ever, we're driving collaboration between studios on key projects. With multiple major projects in development in Montreal, we are merging BioWare Montreal with Motive Studios. This is an ongoing process, but there are many exciting roles and opportunities for everyone on the team. BioWare continues its work on new titles, including the highly anticipated Anthem. What's coming next for BioWare is very exciting, and we're thrilled to have Casey Hudson returning to lead the studios in Edmonton and Austin. Obviously, EA Motive is headed by ex-Ubisoft executive Jade Redman, who is currently working on Star Wars Battlefront 2 and other unannounced projects. But boys, obviously, this is shortly after they announced that Mass Effect was kind of be put on the back burner for a while, based on Frankie's breakdown of Andromeda. He's not too. He can understand why they're taking a break from Mass Effect. But what's your take on BioWare BioWare Montreal getting teamed up with Motive Studios?
This is it, man. This is the final nail in the coffin for Andromeda. This is it's going to be a very long time before we see Mass Effect again in any shape or form, which is obviously something that's going to be heartbreaking for fans of that series and for hardcore fans of that series. That Andromeda, with all of its controversies and different opinions on that game, like that's going to be the last taste that fans have in their mouth of this franchise for the foreseeable future. maybe forever. Who knows? We don't know how Anthem's going to take off. If this becomes a huge franchise for them, then maybe they stick with this for the next 10 years, and then we don't see Mass Effect for a very long time. But the team that they put together to work on Mass Effect Andromeda has now been dispersed throughout BioWare, and that this is it for Andromeda. So they're one and done with that, and now they're just going to be a support these other studios that they're a part of now. So a lot of stuff going on at BioWare. We just talked about the news with Corey, and then we've got Casey Hudson coming back. I forgot the name of Aaron Flynn. It's the guy who left, merging studios. So there's a lot going on at BioWare right now. But it sounds like first and foremost the focus is on Anthem, and then obviously Star Wars Battlefront 2. Like those are kind of the things that these people are going to be working on now moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Now, Bender, you've played through the Mass Effect trilogy. You've played. You didn't play all the way through Andromeda, correct?
No, I haven't finished it.
What's your thoughts on this, man? I mean, this as Ben mentioned, this seems to be it for Andromeda. I don't think we can expect anything else in terms of content. Maybe I don't even know if there's gonna be any more updates going forward. But so is this a surprising move to you, or is this kind of what you expect?
It's not surprising, but it is sad though. I mean, it's a shame that they're going to be shelving Mass Effect for a while, and because from what I played of Andromeda, I liked it. I don't think it deserved all the hate and vitriol that it received.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I guess I can understand what if it didn't sell, if it didn't make money for them, and they want to spend their money on other stuff. I guess I can understand that from a business perspective, but it doesn't make it any easier. I mean, as a Mass Effect fan, I think it would have been nice to know that they were gonna continue that franchise, but it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I was talking to Frankie earlier this week about Andromeda, and he was telling me about his experience, which we'll talk to him here in a second about. And I've played a decent portion of the original trilogy. I played a little bit of 1, I played all through 2, and I played a decent chunk of the campaign in 3. And based on my experiences with those, having fired up Andromeda, I felt like Andromeda was kind of like a campy entry in the series. It was just the story was kind of campy. It wasn't nearly as involved early on from what I had played, as it wasn't nearly as immersive or engaging as what I played in the previous trilogy. But Frankie, you played through a little bit of Andromeda. You weren't impressed with it. Does this move surprise you at all?
Not really. Like we talked about before, there are things about Andromeda I like. I think the combat is a lot of fun. It's just the game itself, and like you were talking about, it just doesn't feel like on an epic scale of what you would expect out of a Mass Effect game. And I mean, granted, I've only played maybe 4 hours of the first Mass Effect game. I haven't messed around with 2 or 3 yet. So I was kind of looking at Andromeda as, all right, well, I'll start here because, people are saying if you've played the original trilogy, you'll appreciate Andromeda a lot less. Mm-hmm. So I kind of was like, all right, well, if I start with Andromeda, I'll like it a lot more. But I think a lot of the voice acting is bad, especially for the main character. I'm playing as the male, so Scott, but he just kind of seems really bored with what he's doing because his animations are really, he's just kind of got like a stone, like I'm falling asleep face. So, but like the story is, it doesn't seem like anything special. It's you're in space and anything that can go wrong is going wrong. It's nothing like grand or new, really. Like it feels like your typical like sci-fi setting story. It's nothing special from what I'm gathering so far.
Right.
And that's the part about that's really bumming me out. Like you come into Mass Effect, you expect story. That's what you're coming for, and I don't feel like that's delivering for me. So I'm having a hard time wanting to go back to it. Mm-hmm. But the combat, the exploration, that stuff is great. I love it. Mm-hmm. So I honestly think like if this had just shipped without that Mass Effect name on it, it probably would have been a lot more appealing to people. Mm-hmm. But you slap that Mass Effect name on there, and there's a level of expectation that this game is not coming close to. So, like from what I've played of it, I totally understand why we don't hear like Taz or anyone really talking about it, because there's really not much to talk about. Mm-hmm. It's just not that exciting. So, all that being said, like I do want to power through the game. I do, like, I'm interested enough to kind of see what transpires with some of the other alien races that you've encountered so far. But it's just it's such a slow burn so far, and I'm probably about 10 hours in. So I don't know. I just keep hoping that all right, well, this is where it'll get better. This is where it'll get better, and I do hope it hits that point. But the other thing that kind of, I don't want to say confuses me, but is a little surprising, and Bender kind of touched on sales, is like, I think this game actually has sold quite well. It seems to consistently be in the NPD somewhere.
It's in the top 10 selling games for the year. I believe it's around number 7 or so in terms of the games that have come out this year. So, I think you're right that it sold a decent amount, but maybe not what EA was expecting for a Mass Effect game, or maybe even what they spent on the budget for this game. Because I know that development drug on a little bit longer than they were anticipating with this, so that could have factored into it as well. I'm not sure.
The other obvious thing is just the reception of the game. Is there even really interest in DLC for the game? So maybe they're smart kind of icing this one and not continuing anything with the Andromeda series, but I still would want to see them do something with Mass Effect. I think the series itself, like it's an interesting franchise for them to have. So to just kind of give up on it because one kind of a bummer entry it kind of sucks. But I guess it is what it is.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. It's right now. It's currently selling as the 7th best-selling game of 2017, and I'm sure that's good. But and I don't know the sales history behind all the Mass Effect entries, but based on the hype behind Mass Effect and the things I've heard from people that love the franchise, I gotta believe 7 is kind of lower than what EA had expected for a Mass Effect title. I mean, this seems like this is a juggernaut franchise that does very, very well. So 7th might not be where it's at, and I think when you have a game like Mass Effect Andromeda, which has kind of this negative stigma about it, it's probably very difficult to justify, hey, let's kick out DLC for a game that's doesn't really have the best stigma. Plus, you've got the fall rush of games coming up. Why waste any more money on producing DLC that's probably just not going to sell in the first place? Yeah. So I kind of understand the thinking about, obviously it's obvious now the studio's getting shifted over elsewhere. So, but it does not surprise me that there's not going to be any DLC for this game. It doesn't surprise me at all.
The other interesting thing to note here too, Brent, is I believe if it's not available yet, it will be in the future. But I believe it's available right now. But you can actually play the first 10 hours of Mass Effect Andromeda. They have like a demo for the game that you can get in and check it out. So
that's out. That's available now.
It's available now. So if you're at all curious about this game, like, you can experience the first 10 hours of it. And the fact that that's available, I think that tells us really a lot about the game at this point. Like if EA is willing to give you the first 10 hours of the game, like, they're really kind of desperately reaching out, like, hey, come and play this game. Like, here's what it has to offer. So I think they're really trying to get people into this, and I would imagine that's because the game hasn't done what they wanted it to do.
Yeah, so it's sad to hear about Bioware Montreal, but that's business, and Mass Effect Andromeda just didn't do the business that EA was hoping it would. So another game that should be in the top 7 selling games of the year, and because it is awesome, is Titanfall 2. And because it didn't sell so well, there were a lot of fans that were concerned about the future of the franchise. Well, rest assured, don't be afraid, don't worry. Respawn Entertainment has zero plans to abandon its first-person shooter franchise anytime soon. Vince Zampella had this to say, quote, "It's important for us to keep this franchise going. We have our franchise creative director who's in charge of safeguarding the franchise in multiple formats and making sure it continues to grow." He went on to stress that Respawn is heavily invested in the Titanfall universe, saying there's content they're working on that hasn't been announced yet. "We're working on more Titanfall. We're not announcing what it is yet, but there's a few things out there in the works." So it sounds like from Vince that Titanfall 2 or the Titanfall franchise is just fine. They are still working on Titanfall content. So Frankie, how does that make you feel? I mean, I think all of us that have played it, we really thoroughly enjoyed Titanfall 2. Everything there is to offer, the campaign, the multiplayer is really fun. I actually did a little bit of the Frontier Defense the other day. Very, very fun. I mean, it's a complete package. It's a great game. It's beautiful emotion. It's fun to play, and it's got everything you need. It just didn't sell. That was the only thing. But it sounds like Respawn is still behind this franchise, dude.
Yeah. Another thing that kind of came out of all of this was they did ask him about sales, and the game, like from a sales standpoint, was a success. But I guess they had higher hopes for it than what it had done. So, still a success, I guess. So that's good at least. But I love Titanfall 2. It's a game I still fire up if I have time for some multiplayer. I've been playing a lot of it on Xbox. That's the one I have like the most time invested in. So I have a higher level character. I have more stuff unlocked over on there. So I still like when I was writing my top 5 list for last year, like Battleborn and Titanfall, I mentioned in there, like these are games I'm definitely going to be playing into 2017, and that's definitely held true for Titanfall 2. And it helps too because like they have like stuck to their, we're going to be releasing free content, like free DLC, all kinds of stuff, like new maps, and they've followed through on that. We've had a couple new maps come out. You mentioned the Frontier Defense is available now, which I want to get in there and try so badly. I've heard it's a lot of fun, so it's cool that they've kind of been able to support the game. It sounds like they're kind of coming to an end for Titanfall 2 support, though, I assume, with the Ultimate Edition out there now, so that's a bit of a bummer, but hey, if I can get a Titanfall 3, I want it. That story in Titanfall 2 is fantastic. I think the multiplayer was much better than, base Titanfall. So I do. I look forward to more Titanfall, whether it be another first-person shooter or if they want to do something completely different with the series. I don't care. I like that IP.
Bender, I know you're a big fan of Titanfall 2. To know that the franchise is still going forward, it's still going strong, there's more Titanfall coming our way. What's your thoughts?
I like the sound of that. I really love the campaign for Titanfall 2. It was a really cool story. I like BT. He was a cool character. So yeah, if they do some more and come up with another one with more story content, I'll be down for that for sure.
Good. Yeah, absolutely. Now, boys, I know outside of Destiny, you're an absolute train wreck when it comes to first-person shooters. Any interest in jumping into that Titanfall 2 campaign at least? I mean, I know you're a big fan of story and gameplay and whatnot, and Titanfall 2 has both of it, man. Any interest? Obviously not after September 6th, but possibly maybe a little break from Destiny 2. Any interest in Titanfall, man?
Yeah, I mean, I do have an interest in playing it. It's just one of those games that slipped through the cracks for me, and but I've heard a lot of good things about it. Something I would like to play at some point in the future. So yeah, I do have interest in it, and I'm curious what they mean when they say that there's more on the way or they've got some other stuff in development. Like, is it Frankie said they were wrapping up Titanfall 2 here for the most part, maybe with the Ultimate Edition coming out. So, I wonder what this is that they're working on. Like, is this Titanfall 3? Is there going to be a Titanfall 3 anytime soon, or is this simply more stuff for Titanfall 2? I'm curious in what way they're working on the future of the franchise right now. But I would like to play Titanfall 2 at some point.
I know we played the beta. Final product, by the way, completely different level. So I think you'll actually have a lot more fun playing it now.
I won't be surprised if we get more content for Titanfall 2. Even though we're getting the Ultimate Edition, most of this stuff that they're kicking out is for free anyways. Like, the Ultimate Edition stuff is like skins, I believe, and that kind of stuff that you would have to pay for. So I can understand if that's the Ultimate Edition for that. But, I mean, all the content that they've been releasing, maps, modes, and stuff like that is going to be free. So I won't be surprised if there is some more Titanfall 2 coming our way, Titanfall 2 content, especially with Frontier Defense just coming out, maybe another mode or another map for that or something along those lines. So Ultimate Edition is definitely, will make you think, hey, that might be it. But because their DLC plan has been free, I won't be surprised if there's some more content coming our way. So we'll go from Titanfall 2, we'll jump into Bender's world. We'll do some Nintendo news. Yay! Bender's perking up. First up, the SNES Classic Edition pre-orders are coming soon. Very, very soon. We all got our emails of death. Yeah, we all got our emails of death from Walmart. We all got our orders canceled. But in a Facebook post, Nintendo said the company, quote, can confirm that it will be made available for pre-order by various retailers later this month. They declined to mention the specific number, but Nintendo did say a significant amount of additional systems will be shipped to stores for launch day and throughout the balance of the calendar year.
That means I'll get 12 instead of 2.
Yeah, Nintendo told IGN in an interview, they intend to produce significantly more SNES Classics than the NES Classic, which Nintendo did ship 2.3 million units worldwide before canceling the money-making juggernaut. So we can expect more SNES Classics. The pre-orders are going to be coming soon. Boyce, you have one job. One job. And that's, you can do whatever you want in Discord. I need a text. The Discord notifications don't work well for me, and if you send something out, I'm not going to see it. I need a text. You have one job, dude.
Just do what I do. Give him your Amazon login information.
Yeah, there you go. And my Amazon login information with his credit card. Perfect. Got
exactly. It. Yeah.
SNES Classic
match made in
Edition.
heaven.
Perfect. Approved. Perfect. So, sometime soon, it's going to pop up on a site. All these retailer sites are going to crash, but hopefully you can get in and get your pre-order before that happens.
Yeah. What time is that going to be at? Is it going to be some
probably
like
5
in the morning or something?
Yeah, 4 in the morning. Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. Could there be a new AAA title being ported to the Nintendo Switch? Virtuos, the studio responsible for working on Assassin's Creed, the Ezio Collection, Batman Return to Arkham, and the recent Final Fantasy remasters, is currently, quote, porting a AAA title to the Nintendo Switch. There is no indication as to given what the title might be, and much of Virtuo's past work makes for a good fit. Obviously, Batman Arkham City was ported to the Wii U previously. Ubisoft is one of Nintendo's closest third parties, and Square Enix already has more than one project in production for the Switch. While prolific, Virtuos has something of a checkered past, however. Obviously, Batman Return to Arkham was kind of dodgy in terms of its performance. We also saw that the Ezio Collection had some very, very strange looking NPCs. So it's cool that Virtuos is behind this. Obviously, they had some issues with the previous games, but anybody want to take a stab at what AAA game they're going to bring to the Switch? I'm going to start with you, boys.
I actually think what they mentioned here in this article probably makes the most sense, and they reference the 2K series. So just to quote the article here, Virtuos has also worked on older iterations of the NBA 2K series. It may be that the upcoming NBA 2K18 port has been outsourced, or perhaps even the recently announced WWE 2K18. Of course, it may be that this is an entirely new collaboration altogether. But to me, that's where my money's at. It's on one of those 2K games, either the NBA one or the WWE game. I think that makes the most sense in terms of what we know about the system at this point right now. Like I could see maybe them bringing over Final Fantasy 12, the recently remastered one, to the Switch. Maybe that's something they would work on. But I think my money's on the 2K stuff right now.
Bender?
I don't know. I think it would be interesting if they just brought the Batman games to the Switch.
That would be pretty cool. Sweet if they did. I'd be hyped if they did that.
Yeah, I would replay those games on the go. I think that'd be awesome. Those are great games. So.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. Other than that, I'm not sure.
Frankie, any ganders here?
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Why not? Why not?
We gotta get that game to another 10 million people. So.
Something tells me Rockstar would be okay with them at taking that kind of a risk right now with the way Grand Theft Auto 5 is selling. So I don't think they'd be like, hey, do what you can do. See if you can get the damn thing on there. Make it cell shaded and cute. I don't care. Get Grand Theft Auto 5 running on that platform.
That's where I would buy it if it were cell shaded. That'd be pretty great.
Up next, the Nintendo 2DS is getting a new bundle. Yes, the 2DS. In a post on Twitter, Nintendo America has revealed a new 2DS bundle. This handheld features a white and red color scheme, and it comes with New Super Mario Bros. 2 pre-installed. The bundle will be released on August 25th for $80. The console can play the entirety of the DS and 3DS libraries, minus any titles requiring the more powerful new line of handhelds. Sorry, Bender, no Xenoblade Chronicles will be working on the 2D, but that doesn't matter to you. You've got the new 3DS. But anybody gonna grab this for $80?
Nope.
Great. Moving on. Super Mario Odyssey. Now this is interesting. This will not be rated E. It's gonna be rated M.
Yes.
It's
M
gonna
for
be,
Mario.
No, the Super Mario Odyssey is the first mainline Mario game to receive higher than an everyone rating from the ERSB. The ERSB hasn't yet published into details or its detailed rundown of reasons for the game's rating, but currently the rating is going to be E10 plus. So I don't know what could they possibly add to a Mario game that would have kids under 10, not sleeping at night.
Possessing people,
yeah, that might be a problem.
The fact
creepy
that
creepy regular human people standing next to Mario, which will probably give me nightmares.
Yeah, that's literally where my mind went to as well. Just the fact that Mario is in like the real world with real people is just going to be strange. But the E10 listing for the ESRB states more cartoon, fantasy, or mild violence, mild language, and or minimal suggestive themes. So my money's on Mario flipping Bowser the bird. That's where I'm going.
Or maybe like at the end, like before he kills Bowser, it's like Jaws. He's like, "Smile, you son of a," and then you hear the ding from the star. I think that'd be pretty cool. I think that'd be awesome. That's how they close it out. But I don't know. That's
Peach
interesting
is more
though.
busty in this one.
She's wearing lewd clothing.
Well, they do have Pauline as the mayor of New Donk City. Maybe she's like in a jacuzzi at some point or something.
Oh, there you
That's
go.
possible.
Maybe maybe New Donk City is a euphemism for something that we haven't quite figured out yet.
Good. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
that's the new
All right.
Nintendo thing.
Oh
Yeah.
boy. All right, we're gonna get away from this one because this show could get real. This could get M-rated real quick. Up next, Rhyme gets a Switch release date. Tequila Works is bringing Rhyme along with Greybox and 6 Foot LLC. They're all bringing Rhyme to the Nintendo Switch on November 14th in North America and November 17th in Europe. The puzzle adventure game will be available on via the Nintendo eShop for $30 in the US, 35. I don't know what that is anymore. 35 euros, I'm assuming, and 30 pounds or physically for $40 US, 45 euros, or 40 pounds. The physical release includes a download code for the game's soundtrack, which is exceptional, by the way.
Yes.
So, also, quick thing I just found out today: the person that composed the Rhyme soundtrack is also composing the soundtrack for Hellblade.
Good.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
awesome.
I believe his name is David Garcia.
Mhm.
So definitely very talented composer. But Ryan making his way to the Switch. Bender, you gonna pick that up?
Maybe I might be willing to play that game again. I really liked it.
Now I know, Frankie, you mentioned there's a couple of scenes in that game are visually impressive on the PS4 and Xbox One. Are you worried about the concessions they might make to get that thing running on the Switch?
A little bit. That's
Mhm.
kind of why I want to pick it up. I just want to see how that thing runs on there.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly a morbid curiosity thing, but also it's a great game and I wouldn't mind playing it again. So
Yeah, you guys have spoken very highly. Bender actually has a review up on the site. Come over and check it out. I actually in the post or in the press release for this, they had some screenshots, and while it doesn't look bad, I mean it's obviously a colorful game. It's a beautiful looking game. You can definitely tell if those screenshots are from the Switch, which I believe they are. It doesn't look as pretty as the bigger console versions, but it's not a terribly demanding game, I don't think. I mean, but it looked good from what we saw in the screenshots.
there's a level in that game that I personally think is a technical masterpiece that I
Mhm.
would worry about seeing running on the Switch.
Is that the scene where it's raining?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you've spoken very highly of that moment.
It's really, really cool.
Well, hopefully it doesn't lose too much in the translation over to the Switch. Boyce, any interest in Rhyme on the Switch?
Does it have trophies?
I'm going to lose this
Yeah,
whole thing
yeah.
right now.
It does have trophies.
Yeah, I'll stick to the PS4 version.
There you go. Perfect. Moving along, Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2 are coming to the Switch. The 2002 and 2015 survival horror games will be landing on the Nintendo Switch later this year. Capcom has announced that in addition to the re-release of Resident Evil Revelations on Xbox One and PS4 on August 29th, both of these will drop on the Switch by the end of 2017. These revisions will see the iterations of the popular series running an increased frame rate. Notice it doesn't say 60, it just says increased, at 1080p, as well as added improvements to animations and details within the games. Fans of the series will also be able to play the familiar raid mode with an added twist in the Ghost Ship Chaos. This version of the popular mode will see players being able to access more powerful weapons and upgrades, but have to deal with shaken up enemy placements for additional challenge. I don't know if you guys have played it, but the raid mode is the absolute best part of Resident Evil Revelations. Boys, what's your thoughts on this? Both these games making their way to the Switch.
It's cool, man. You know, the more games you get on there, the better. I don't know if at some point Switch owners are gonna get tired of getting these like ported over games, especially like Resident Evil Revelations, the first one. It's been a while on that one, but I know these are available on the PS4 and the Xbox One now, so I think people are gonna enjoy playing these on the go.
Bender, I know you have zero interest in Resident Evil, but now that it's on the Switch, you're down for it,
right? Still no.
Sweet. Over to you, Frankie. Your thoughts on Revelations making its way to the Switch?
Honestly, considering picking it up. I never played through Revelations 1 or 2, so why not? Then I'm gonna care about trophies. I'm fine with that.
I dig it. I like I said, the raid mode is my favorite part of the Revelation games. I played through most of 2. Didn't really care for the story, but obviously I didn't play Revelations 1. I don't know how much build up there is to 2 from 1. I don't know if it's all related. Obviously it's related. It's a sequel, but the raid mode is absolutely awesome. I love the raid mode, so hopefully that's in there cooperatively on the Switch. Play with the buddy. So
yeah, I think you. It was you. I think you streamed some of the raid mode when that came out. So I remember watching that, going, "Oh, this actually looks really cool." So
yeah, I really like the raid
mess
mode.
With that.
Yeah, it's a really fun mode to play. Like I said, cooperatively with a friend, it's a lot of fun.
Is it gonna hook up to the app?
I hope not. Dude, I'm to the point now where if I play Switch games with friends, I'm just not going to talk to you. It's just, I've come to expect I'm just not going to talk to you at all. So
perfect.
Moving on. Overcooked. Bender, you played Overcooked. Did you experience any frame rate issues?
I didn't notice any. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention, or maybe I was too focused on what I was trying to do in the game, but I never noticed any glaring frame rate issues.
Can't let that bacon burn, man.
I know, right?
Translation, Bender doesn't give a shit. So there you go. But apparently there are some gamers out there that have run into some frame rate problems on the Switch, specifically with Overcooked. Developer Ghost Town Games is aware of the technical issues players have faced and are working to resolve these issues. They released a statement, quote, "We're currently working on an update to improve the frame rate issues folks have been seeing and hoping to roll out any changes as soon as we're able to." So if you're playing Overcooked and you're not too focused on the bacon, if you notice some frame rate issues, don't worry, a fix is on the way.
I might be mistaken on this, but I believe one of the issues with this is that the game may be running sub 30 on the Switch. So it not necessarily that it's skipping frames, but just that the frame rate is so low on the Switch version of the game. So I think that may be the issue here. Not 100% sure. I don't remember if I read that correctly, but I think that might be the issue at play.
Bender thinks the real issue is just people bitch too much because he ain't got no problems with that game.
Bender doesn't want to serve no burnt bacon.
Yeah.
He's got a job to do. All right, moving along. Kirby discounts and rewards celebrate the game's 25th anniversary. The games on offer feature virtual console titles such as the original Kirby's Dream Land on 3DS and Kirby's Adventure on Wii U, as well as some newer titles, including last year's Kirby Planet Robobot on 3DS. That game is awesome, by the way. I really enjoyed the game. I thought it was really fun. So there you go. Frankie, Kirby, it's 25th anniversary, man. One of your favorite characters of all time. Safe to say, Kirby?
I love Kirby. I'm sad I can't buy any of these games on my Switch, though. I want some virtual Kirby games on there. That'd be great.
Don't worry. Sometime before 2020, we'll get it. All right. So let's get out of the Nintendo news. Let's jump into Friday the 13th. And this game is a big hit. Frankie, I want to get your thoughts on something in just a moment. I know you're very pleased with Gun Media and Alphonic. But first, Gun Media and Alphonic have announced that Friday the 13th game has now sold over 1.8 million copies across all platforms digital. A physical release will also be available for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on Friday the 13th in October. Wow, that's just brilliant marketing. The physical edition will cost $40 and will come with a bloody Jason skin variant for all playable Jason versions and a clothing pack for all playable camp counselors. Wes Keltner, head of Gun Media, said, quote, "While things haven't been completely smooth, we definitely feel confident moving forward. The team has grown, and we are committed as we work to add more content, more kills, more to do, and of course, the single-player component to the game." Now, Frankie, I can buy the physical edition for $40, which still is kind of steep. But quick question: how much did you back Friday the 13th for again?
Like $65.
And what do you get with that $65, Frankie?
$30 physical game. Never again. I'm done. That was my last kick to not care about physical games anymore for Kickstarter. So I'm out. Don't care anymore. Tired of this Kickstarter. I'm just tired of Kickstarter. This is the second game now that I've backed at some stupid high tier to get a physical game and or something physical. I think Armor Krog I put $40 in for a soundtrack that I never got. And then it came to PlayStation and was available for $8 when the Wii U version was supposed to be $25.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time I got the code for that, I had already gotten rid of the Wii U, and I got the Wii U code 3 weeks after I just bought it on the PS4. So between those two, I don't want to do any more Kickstarter things. I'm just so bitter towards them now.
That is a kick in the nuts.
It really is, and I don't even like Friday the 13th. So,
well, let's talk about it from a sales perspective, though. I mean, 1.8 million copies sold digitally. Boyce, your thoughts on the success of Friday the 13th, despite all of its imperfections?
This is crazy. that this game has sold 1.8 million copies since it released, with all of the just bugs and issues with the game that have come out. But there has been a community of people that have formed around this game. It's really incredible to see. So for whatever reason, whether it's just the Friday the 13th brand or just the goofy fun that people have been able to extract out of this game, there's a very strong community around this game right now. 1.8, and this game has landed at the top of the PSN charts on multiple months, I think, now in terms of downloads. So this game is selling extremely well, and it makes me even wonder even further, what is Illphonic doing here? Why do they have this other game that's about to come out, this Dead Alliance game? Why is it not all hands on deck with Friday the 13th? They have a bona fide hit on their hands here. So why they have another game coming out right now? I know that they're probably working on it, or they've been working on it for a while, and they probably didn't anticipate Friday the 13th meteoric rise here early on in its career. But to me, they've got to be look, man, we've got a monster hit on our hands here. We've got to get this thing working, firing on all cylinders, so we can maintain this community that we've developed. We've got to get this story mode out that's still not out. We've got to get the physical release out to people. This should be the focus of their company right now. But astonishing to me that this game is at almost 2 million copies.
I can't help but wonder if this is just the byproduct of a company or a development studio that just has its eyes set on big bucks, dude. Because, they went the Kickstarter route to get the funding for Friday the 13th. It's Friday the 13th. This thing was going to sell. Okay, this thing was going to sell. And so they knew they had the backing from that. And they're like, okay, well, in the meantime, let's start another game, Dead Alliance, which they said they'd started prior to Friday the 13th.
And Dead Alliance looks terrible. Like when I watch that game, I'm just like...
And that's what makes me wonder if they're going quantity over quality here. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, they're a smaller studio. This is the independent studio that said multiple independent studios have multiple teams working on many projects.
Yeah, we remember that quote.
Yeah, but I can't help but wonder if maybe they just didn't expect Friday the 13th to take off like this. And, you know, now they're like, holy crap, we do have to like start kicking out more content. We do have to maintain this thing. We do have to clean up the bugs. And I can't help but wonder if this is going to affect Dead Alliance and its quality. It just seems like this is just a studio that has taken on a lot more than a bit off a lot more than it could chew. but at the same time, they're reaping the benefits. I mean, they took Kickstarter to get Friday the 13th. They knew everybody wanted to play that game. They sold a bunch of copies. They got Dead Alliance coming out. Regardless if it's quality or not, they're making a lot of money right now.
You get maximum games behind a game. I don't think they really care about the quality of it.
No, they
That's
don't.
been pretty obvious so far.
Yeah. They talk about a game and how cool it sounds, but they never quite deliver the goods. But, like I said, I've played Friday the 13th. I know there's an audience out there that there's a group of people that don't like it, but there is a passionate audience that does love it. It's for me, it's nostalgic. And it has some strengths to it. It has some fun moments, especially when you're playing as Jason. But even if you're as a camp counselor and you're playing with a group of friends, there's some fun to be had there. So
Yeah.
it doesn't surprise me it pulled in 1.8 million because it's Friday the 13th. And there's a lot of people that are going to buy that.
I like selling out my teammates when they lock me out of houses.
That was funny as hell. Frankie and I were in the stream, and he was a counselor, and he was just telling me where everybody was at. This one guy ran off. There's no way I was going to find him. There's no way. He's like, okay, he's in the third porta potty just outside the house. And I seriously just showed up. I didn't walk around and check. I just walked up to the door and killed the guy. I mean, it's obvious that I was being fed information, but
That's what you get. You don't lock your teammates out of the house, you douche.
Yep. They locked Frankie out, and he goes, all right, Brent, here's where they are. And I'm like, oh, great. This is perfect. So... But Friday the 13th, a big hit, making a lot of money. You can pick up the physical version for $40 in October on Friday the 13th.
Buy Evil Within 2.
That is a fine alternative. All right, let's get over some fighting news. Mr. Boyce, 2 new Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite characters have been revealed. Who are they?
They are Firebrand and Dormammu, which are 2 characters that were very prevalent in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. So these were fan favorites, especially Dormammu. There's some great Firebrand players out there as well. Firebrand from Gargoyle's Quest. But Dormammu has a heavy presence in a lot of the top players' teams. So I'm sure a lot of people are excited to see him officially confirmed for this. And the interesting thing about this, Brent, is there was a leaked list of fighters for this game, and pretty much every single character that is on this list has been confirmed at one point or another. So going off that list, just looking through here quickly, it looks like we can expect to see Ant-Man officially confirmed in the future if the rest of this list pans out. Have they confirmed Hawkeye, Frankie? I don't remember if they've officially confirmed him or not.
I don't think so.
But Hawkeye's on this list. The Monster Hunter is on this list, so we could see him as a character in the game. There's also another Capcom character which is unrevealed at this point. So still a few more characters to go. There's been talk of Black Panther as a DLC character possibly some point down the line as well. So so I'm excited to see where the rest of the roster comes out to. But I'm down with Firebrand and Dormammu being in the game again.
I love a short fighting game section. Good stuff. Thanks, Mr. Boyce. All right, moving on. Grand Theft Auto 5. Let's talk about Grand Theft Auto 5 for a moment, okay?
It's coming to the Switch?
No. Like I said, they might want to consider it after this. But Take-Two Interactive announced that Grand Theft Auto Online just had its best quarter ever. Ever. Boys, when did the PS3, Xbox 360 versions come out?
4 years ago.
And the PS4, Xbox One versions? 3 years ago?
2 years ago.
2 years ago?
3 years
2014.
ago? 2014. Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto Online just had its best quarter ever. In its quarterly earnings release, Take-Two reported net revenue from digitally delivered content grew 72% over the same period last year, with GTA Online leading the pack for recurrent customer spending. Recurrent customer spending refers to virtual currency, downloadable add-on content, and microtransactions. It's not just about GTA Online fans are spending real money on. They're also spending money on NBA 2K17, which also is bringing home the bacon for the company, both in recurrent spending and in overall sales, with that 2K17 now holding the title of Take-Two Interactive's best-selling sports title ever.
Wow.
But let's go back to GTA. The recurring customer spending. This is virtual currency, downloadable add-on content, and microtransactions. Microtransactions. People are buying those cards up like crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Grand Theft Auto 5.
I wonder if part of this too is that there are quite a few bundles on PSN. I know, I imagine it's that way on Xbox Live as well, where you purchase the game with this virtual currency, and these bundles are constantly going on sale. There's probably a lot of people that are buying a digital version of this game, and they're buying it in tandem with one of these virtual currency packs and getting all of this, extra content for GTA Online with that as well. I bet you that's part of this whole thing. And man, they struck gold with Grand Theft Auto Online. Like this is the key to Grand Theft Auto 5's success and why it's had the continued success that it's had. Grand Theft Auto Online has been a huge boon for them. They put out new updates every single month for that mode. People love Grand Theft Auto Online. They're constantly playing it. So that was literally like just it was the best thing that ever happened to the franchise. It was a brilliant move on Take-Two's part to put that in the game, and it's driven the game to be over 75 million copies sold at this point, which is incredible.
This online, the Grand Theft Online, will be the blueprint used in every single open world game from Rockstar going forward. Yep. And it'll be iterated upon and improved every single time. This is going to be the future for Rockstar in terms of what makes it money. And Take-Two Interactive. I mean, Frankie, its best quarter ever in terms of revenue, man. What's your thoughts on that?
That's freaking insane. It is. It's absolutely insane to me that this game has been out as long as it has, and this has been their best quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I don't understand. I don't know. Maybe it's because I never got into Grand Theft Auto, but I just I don't get it.
I mean, I've played Grand Theft Auto Online, and I had a lot of fun there. I didn't know if there was this much fun though. But I mean, they've added so many different things to the online. Hell, I might have to fire it up and just see what's new.
Make sure you buy another copy.
I'll just buy another copy just so they have it. Yeah, absolutely. But it's just the last time I really spent a lot of time is when they brought out the heists, and I thought the heists were really, really fun. Those were pretty elaborate. I had a good time with that. A couple of my buddies, we ran through a couple of them, and they were pretty elaborate and a lot of fun. But they've added quite a bit of stuff since then. A lot of theme packs and different things you can do. So maybe it's time we jump back into that, boys, and check out the online version, man. See what's going on in Grand Theft Auto Online.
I've actually always really wanted to play. Don't they have some kind of like a raid mode or something in that where you get a group together and tackle these extended missions or something?
Yeah, I think those are the heists.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the heists you plan out.
I'm thinking of.
Like it's a multi-tier thing. Like you plan out this heist. Like how there's two different ways to do things. We're gonna do this, and then you got to play the whole thing out. Like it's pretty elaborate, dude. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I'd be down to hop in there and jump into some shenanigans, see what happens.
Hell yeah, and we'll just shoot each other. I'll just end up killing you, so it's all good.
Yeah, I mean that's par for the course.
Yeah, I'll just stand there and not move and watch you miss every single shot. But all right, so Grand Theft Auto Online doing very, very well. This is insane, dude. I mean, Red Dead Redemption 2 is just going to go off the charts, and you better believe Red Dead Online is going to have a lot of what makes Grand Theft Auto Online very appealing. So can't wait for that to drop and for that to make a ton of money. Boys, let's jump into some PlayStation news. What's going on in the world of PlayStation, man?
Start with a very interesting PlayStation Store top downloads list for the month of July. And, man, the game at the top of this list, Brent, for the PS4 is Crash Bandicoot. So, wow. Crash Bandicoot, so we know it came out on the last day in June, and it charted for that month, right? Mm-hmm. Charted very high. So you're like, oh man, a lot of people jumped in, bought Crash. But a lot of people didn't just jump in and buy Crash on the first day it came out. People have been buying Crash throughout the month of July. So it is the top downloaded game on the PSN list for the month of July, followed by Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, the Game of Year edition, which was on sale multiple times. God of War 3 Remastered, also on sale multiple times. I believe I picked up a digital copy for like $4 or whatever it was, $6, whatever it was. So that was a steal for that game. At number 4, Friday the 13th, the game. So here we are. This is where that 1.8 million comes in, and I don't know what it is, Brent. If it's just word of mouth or if it's some of the people that have evangelized this title. But Friday the 13th has just caught on in a way that, like we said, Ilphonic didn't expect it to, and none of us really did. Rocket League still chugging along at number 5. Grand Theft Auto 5. I mean, what's a top list without Grand Theft Auto 5? Minecraft is at number 7. Modern Warfare Remastered at number 8, so the standalone version of that charting. Ratchet and Clank's at 9. Awesome. EA Sports UFC 2 is at number 10. Final Fantasy 12, The Zodiac Age, hopping in at number 11. Battlefront Ultimate Edition at 12. Madden NFL 17 at 13. Battlefield 1, followed by Ghost Recon Wildlands, How to Survive 2, MLB The Show 17, Mad Max, Ark Survival Evolved, and Elite Dangerous, bringing up the last spot there.
Where was did you mention Black Ops 3 or Infinite Warfare?
Sure didn't.
Wow.
Modern Warfare Remastered's up there.
There you go.
I want to hone in on Crash because there's some Activision had some interesting things to say about this week. So the game, quote unquote, outperformed even our most optimistic expectations. That's straight from Activision. And this was after they found out that the game was the top PSN title for July. We've heard several times about how this game has topped the worldwide charts for physical releases over the last few weeks. This is a quote from Eric Hirschberg, obviously the Activision CEO. Quote, "We knew there was a passionate audience out there for Crash, full disclosure, myself among them, but we had no idea. It's hard to tell if that's a vocal minority or that's a real mass audience until you put something out there. Crash has surpassed all of our expectations by a pretty wide margin." So this is a strategy that clearly has our attention. While there are no new announcements today, I think you can be confident there will be more activity like this in the future with more great IP. We've lined up additional releases of that kind of beloved fan favorite content going forward. There's a beloved IP out there that our community would love to engage in. End quote. So, obviously, the first title off of the tip of people's tongues is Spyro. That's a franchise that people thought would be the next logical step after Crash. So what do you think when you hear something like this, Frankie? Are we going to get that Spyro remaster that you're interested in?
Yeah. Hell yeah. Like, now is the time, especially now.
Yeah. So, Brent, just this wave of nostalgia and this Crash has been an incredible success. We keep hearing these stories seemingly every single week about it topped this chart. It's still at the top here. It's selling this well. Now it's at the top of the PSN charts for the entire month of July. What do you think about this, man? And is there any franchise from Activision you'd like to see them revisit? They mentioned like Tony Hawk as maybe another thing that they could go back to.
It's I'm with Eric, dude. It's just like I know there was a lot of talk about Crash Bandicoot, but I was with him. I figured it was just a vocal minority. I was like, this thing's gonna come out to some fanfare. People are gonna chew it up. Like the diehards are gonna grab it. But I was like, I don't think this thing's going to sell that much. And obviously, the game has proven everybody wrong with that who thought that. And it's incredibly impressive. And I've never played Spyro, so I'd be cool to play that. So I would like to see Spyro. I mean, it seems like it would make sense. There's a lot of people clamoring for it, but no, it's just, man, I did not expect a game like this. Even though it sounds like it's a well done remaster. I mean, you've played it. You and Bender have both played it. You guys say it's well done and it's fun to play.
Very well done.
I didn't expect it to sell like this. I really didn't. But hey, a community has risen up and eaten it up, and they've supported it. And hopefully, Sony also takes note from this and brings back SOCOM, because we're a vocal minority, and we'll put that on top of the list real quick for you, Sony.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. Eric talks about how they weren't sure if is this just a certain group of people that are really loud about this game. But I think it's cool though that this game has come out and people have flocked to it. And there's a huge crowd for this game, and they're just buying this thing up left and right. What do you think about this, Bender? And I don't know, I'm still kind of wondering if we might see a new Crash game out of all of this. They'd be foolish not to at least think about it, right?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a possibility. I think the Spyro thing is almost a certainty now at this point.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's the next logical step if they're remastering, other classic Sony IP. I don't know what else they could do. Maybe a Crash Team Racing thing, remaster. That'd be cool because I never played that game.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'd be willing to check that one out. But yeah, I'd be down for a new Crash game if they wanted to come out with something new. That'd be cool. And yeah, good times.
Pretty incredible. Some of these sales stories we're talking about here with Friday the 13th and Grand Theft Auto and Crash Bandicoot. Pretty wild that with all of the titles on sale in the month of July, Crash still came out as the most purchased game, a game that wasn't on sale at all. So pretty good stuff from Crash there. So moving on here, I thought this was a really interesting story. So some of these people on the internet are just incredible with some of the things that they can do. But some sleuths have hopped into some of the concept art for The Last of Us Part 2, and they may have sussed out that Seattle is at least going to be a location that we visit at some point in the game. So here's there's a series of images. The first one here, there's an image that depicts a public parking garage lit by firelight. Though a few cars, a hooded figure, and trees obscure part of the structure, there's actually if you zoom in on this here and you look at the structure, it appears to match up almost part for part with this parking structure that's found in Seattle currently at Seattle's Millennium Tower. Now, interestingly enough, the second piece of concept art that you look at looks to have a set of buildings with the word Driftwood on it, which is also found in Seattle, and it's in front of Seattle's Butnick building. Apparently, this location is just a few blocks away from what we see in the other piece of concept art with the parking structure. So it's really interesting. This could be a portion of the city that they've developed for the game. The fact that both areas are within walking distance of one another just lends more credence to that. The first game we played through Wyoming and Utah, and we were up in that part of the country. So I think Seattle is a next logical step for this game. I just thought it was really interesting the way that people are able to dive in here and kind of figure out stuff from these pictures. It's pretty crazy, man.
Weren't they in Boston in the first game?
Yeah, there's quite a few cities that they visited. They were in
Pittsburgh.
Yep. Pittsburgh. I believe Boston was in there at one point as well. So, yeah. So seriously, can't wait for that game, man. It's gonna be a long wait till 2019 or whenever that comes out. But I like hearing at least a little bit about it here. All right, moving on from there. So Prey had a new patch come out this week, and it addressed many of the big issues, especially with the PS4 version of the game. So I know there was, from what we understand, there was some screen tearing and stuttering associated with the PS4 version of the game. There were also several issues related to the Xbox One and PC that were addressed with this patch as well. But we know that the last patch for the game introduced PS4 Pro support for the first time, and now this new patch was released to address some of the other major issues with the PS4 version. So I'm curious, I don't know, did Frankie, did you notice any of the issues in the PS4 version, or you or Brent? I don't know which of you guys have actually played this game, but did you notice any of these issues that they're talking about here?
I don't think so. I didn't really notice a lot of the problems people complained about, but I also haven't played it since they actually patched in Pro support. But my understanding is the Pro support patch actually kind of messes the game up.
Oh, did it?
And there were a bunch of problems because of that. So I think this patch
maybe
actually
that's what it was in.
Is fixing a lot of the problems that came with the Pro patch. So I don't know. I just kind of gave up on that game. I don't know if I'm gonna go back to it or not. But
yeah, it's been a polarizing title for sure in terms of people that have played it. You either love it or you hate it at this point. Yeah, but hopefully that this patch has fixed up all the issues. But I know that was something that a lot of people had a problem with. Yeah. Moving on from there. Hob. This game looks incredible. I don't know if you guys have seen this game or been watching anything about this game, but Hob has a release date now. It's coming out September 26th. This is from Runic. So these are the people that developed the Torchlight series. And Hob just looks like an awesome title. It's like a 3D action platformer puzzle game. It looks like it has some Zelda elements to it in terms of the way it operates. Love the look of this game. It just oozes style. It looks like it's going to be really fun to play.
I think this game looks awesome. I remember a year or even more longer ago, I remember seeing a trailer for this game, and and then they just went silent. Haven't heard or seen or heard anything since. So I'm glad to see that they finally have a release date. From what I remember seeing from the trailer, it looked really cool and definitely had some Zelda-like influences that I could see. So I'm really interested in this game. I'm definitely gonna check it out.
Yeah, looks absolutely stunning. Great trailer for the game. There's a pre-order incentive right now. It's $20, but you get 10% off if you pre-order it. You also get access to a theme with it as well. The theme actually looks pretty cool. I like that they're doing this as well. They actually have a contest where you can name one of the trophies in the game. So you can get in that. You can go visit their website. I'm not sure if it's their Facebook page. One of their websites. You can actually go on there and you can enter in a contest to name a trophy in the game. You'll earn some swag for if you get chosen. You'll also see your name in the credits for the game as well, which is pretty sweet. I might hop in there and see if I can name a trophy. That'd be pretty slick.
Yeah.
So
I did that once.
Did you?
They did that for Oddworld New and Tasty, and one of mine got picked as one of the 3. I think they had 5 trophies they were doing naming for, and then mine got chosen for one of them as like the top 3.
Oh, really?
So I ended up getting like copies of the PS1 classics. So that was pretty
nice.
Cool. Yeah, that was awesome.
Nice. Did they choose your name for the final trophy?
No.
Oh,
no, because
okay.
they did the public vote, and I actually voted for the one that won because it was way better.
What an honest man you are.
Yeah, I liked mine, but the other ones that they had on there were pretty good too. So
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, in a fall and in a year that's full of like awesome games, Hob is probably gonna fall under a lot of people's radars. But this is really something that I think people should keep their eye on. It really looks like a fantastic game. So I'm curious to see how this one turns out on September 26th. We also saw The Lost Bear announced for PSVR, which is an interesting looking title. It takes place in like a puppet theater. It's a 2D game that really curious about that one. Love the art style on that one as well. X-Morph Defense is coming to PS4 on August 30th. It'll be on the Xbox One as well. This is a kind of a reverse tower defense game where you're kind of the aliens attacking the city and attacking humanity. So that's an interesting take on that. Friendly reminder: Matter falls out August 15th. Just looks badass. It's got the trademark Housemark soundtrack in there. It's got balls to the wall action. It looks like basically a side-scrolling platform version of Resogun, which signed me up for that. So we saw a new like development video that came on the PlayStation blog this week. Just wanted to throw it out there once again. August 15th, we'll be talking about this one on the next show. Absolutely can't wait for Matterfall. Housemark, one of my all-time favorite developers. Really, in the grand scheme of things, this is like Sony's secret weapon. The fact that they have Housemark as one of their like second-party developers or whatever that develops all these great games for them. So yeah, absolutely can't wait for that game. Dragon Quest XI came out in Japan this past week. Just crushed it. Over 2 million copies of both the 3DS and the PS4 version. This is obviously a huge game in Japan. It hasn't caught on in the West the way it has in Japan. But they confirmed this past week that Dragon Quest XI, we already knew it was coming West, but we now know it's coming West for at least the PS4. We don't have confirmation for the 3DS version of the game yet. We'll have to see how that all works out. There's an interesting version of Dragon Quest XI in Japan that includes the 3DS and the PS4 version in one like collector's edition. So
Wow.
we obviously won't see that here in the West, but I thought that was interesting. A couple more notes here. A couple new Persona games were announced. We've got a Persona 3 and a Persona 5 dancing game coming to both the PS4 and the Vita, and then a new 3DS Persona Q2 game, which combines like dungeon crawling or first-person dungeon crawling and Persona. A new one of those announced for the near future here. And Frankie, Yakuza Kiwami, set to get 4 free DLC packs after launch.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I cannot wait to play that game. I am really excited to jump in there.
On the 29th, man.
That's so far away.
You got a week to beat it before Destiny 2, so you better hightail through it, man.
I'm kind of off that week, I think. I'm probably gonna end up working, but I think I'm actually scheduled off that week.
Oh, okay. Hopefully you get it off so you can power through that, man, because I'm just leery of anything jumping out before Destiny 2. It's really hard. I got to be very selective what games I'm going to play. I got to make sure they're shorter games. The games that I know I can get through. I don't want to start a long game that I know that I'm just not going to get to. I've done that enough in the past. I'm trying to focus on the shorter games right now. Once September 6th and that hits, nothing else matters. So
I'm not worried about that.
not worried about it?
Nah, I'm not gonna jump into Destiny 2 right away. I've decided. I'll wait.
I'll wait for that tune to change next week. Okay.
Okay.
PlayStation news. Thank you, Mr. Boyce. Up next, Shadow of War gets microtransactions, and Frankie, the world is up in arms.
Oh my God, no!
Oh, the microtransactions ruins every game because
man.
I'm not forced to buy them.
God, that's the first game in 2017 to get them.
Unbelievable. Middle-earth Shadow of War's expanded Nemesis system will feature microtransactions, and developer Monolith has shed light on how they'll work. According to the studio's official announcement, quote, players can purchase loot chests, war chests, XP boost, and bundles through the market to strengthen their army. Within loot chests, players will find weapons and armor, as well as XP boosts, which make Talion level up quicker. War chests contain new orc followers that will help you strengthen your army, as well as training orders, which let you level up and customize your orcs. Bundles include a combination of loot chests, war chests, and XP boosts together at a package deal. These items can be acquired by spending Mirian, an in-game currency that you can find stashes of while playing the game. You can also acquire Mirian by taking down treasure orcs and destroying gear. Players also have the option of purchasing gold, Shadow of War's other in-game currency, which can be acquired by spending real money. Participating in community challenges and completing specific milestones will earn you gold as well. So what you're telling me, Frankie, is all this stuff, all this in-game currency that I can buy through microtransactions, I can also earn by just playing the game, right?
Yep, sure can.
Cool. And is there any multiplayer that's going to screw over everybody else because I'm so super powered with XP and I've got all the best gear?
Sure ain't.
Cool. So does anyone care that there's microtransactions in this game?
Sure don't.
Some people do.
Some people do. Because
Nobody on this podcast.
apparently, I guess the reason is when you open the game, it puts a gun to your head and says, buy. It's just, I've never understood the hate for microtransactions. These developers have to make money. These games aren't cheap to make. $60 is probably a steal for some of these games. They need to make money.
The only time I think I've ever kind of frowned upon them was Dead Space 3 because they were pretty, like,
Yeah.
they were constantly like, go, come on, yeah. You want this thing to go faster? $5.
Right.
But I haven't seen anything nearly that egregious. So
Yeah, nobody needs reminders of microtransactions. Look, there are people that are going to pay money to get this stuff quicker. And you know what? Those are the people the developers are aiming for. The people that want to spend money, that want to level up quicker and get all the best gear.
yeah,
More power to them. What's that?
the impatient people.
Cool. You can call them what you want. The developers think of them as their friends. And that's why they have the microtransactions in there because, hey, I don't want to spend 80 hours ranking my guy up. I'll just buy this. That doesn't bother me. That doesn't bother you. I don't understand why it's a big deal. It's not. It's just microtransactions are always going to be a thing. They're not going anywhere. Microtransactions will be here next year, 2019, 2033. Microtransactions are not going anywhere. Deal with it.
It's a single player game.
Right. That's the thing. It's single player.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares if it's a single player game? Personally, I would never spend money on microtransactions to level up my character in a single player game because hell, that's the whole point of the game.
Right.
But if you want to spend money on your single player game to level up your character, who gives a rat's ass? Who gives a rat bag's ass? Like if you want to spend money to level up your character, big deal. How does that affect you in any way, shape, or form? The only way, like you mentioned, that this ever becomes an issue is if they're doing what Frankie's talking about and they're like, give us your money. If they're constantly throwing that in our face, that's an issue. If not, if I'm just playing this game like normal, and if I want to buy one of these pieces, which from what we can read here and glean, doesn't sound like this is going to be a situation where like, hey, give us your real money and you'll be able to do this. Like, there's two types of currency in the game, which many games do now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tons of games do this, where you have two different types of currency, and I don't feel like this game's going to be throwing that in our face constantly. So if you want to pay to level up your single player character, who in the hell cares?
Mm-hmm. And they
Seriously.
mentioned, and I like how they pointed out right away. They listed ways that you can earn this in-game currency in-game.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point of it. Play the damn game, and you'll get the currency. Or if you don't want to, you can pay for it. It's not forcing you to. It shouldn't change anything. This is a dead issue.
Yeah.
Okay. This is just a developer trying to make money, and if people want to give them money, let them give them money.
It's a single-player game. It's a single-player game. Literally, you buying an XP boost has no effect on my game in any way, shape, or form.
But this is the developers being greedy, Ben. They should give me everything for cheap.
Yeah, these Pro and X versions of the game are free to develop, so.
Yeah, super easy. Yeah, it doesn't cost any money. I mean, Mark Cerny said it's super easy to do. I'm assuming it doesn't cost a cent.
Yeah.
Like you said, man, every pre-order comes with a free gun to the head. So get out there and get it while you can.
You can pre-order this game early if you want, but you got to make sure you promise to spend money in microtransactions.
For every extra $1 you spend, we'll take a bullet out of the chamber.
And replace it with a blank. I like that. All right. So now that we got that out of our systems, just another reason for certain gamers to bitch. Let's jump into some Xbox bulletins. First up, we talked about this a little bit ago. Crash Bandicoot could Crash be coming to the Xbox One. A video of Crash Bandicoot allegedly running with Xbox One button prompts replacing those on PS4 have surfaced. As reported by Xbox Achievements, one of the remaster's UI artists shared a video of the remake Crash Trilogy running with button UI from an Xbox One controller. Now, what we don't know is this could be a PC version running while being played with an Xbox controller.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we don't know if this is an Xbox One version or if this is just a PC version, but the UI in the video also still includes nods to the series' PlayStation roots, as the original PlayStation memory card is still used during the screens. So I'm pretty sure Xbox wouldn't want that in an Xbox version. They won't want to see a PS1 memory card or anything that looks like it. But since then, the artist has removed the original video. It's no longer up there. But, boys, what do you think we saw here? Do you think we just saw a PC version, or do you think Activision wants to get this game out to as many platforms as possible?
There's a couple different things going on here. One, I think what we probably saw in this video was just the PC version. You know, we know that a lot of these videos are just the PC version running the game before it gets ported over to the PlayStation 4. And obviously, you know, many of these PC builds use the Xbox One controller that hooks up the PC, so that's kind of a normal thing. The fact that the PlayStation things are still in the video, like the PlayStation memory card, that's what I think lends the most credence to that theory. The other aspect of this is I don't know how much Sony was involved in this remaster or what kind of rights they have to these original games or how that exactly works with the deal that Activision has with their rights to Crash Bandicoot. Don't know exactly how all of this works. So if Sony was involved in you know, getting this game out or publishing it in any way or putting any kind of money behind it, then it probably won't be on Xbox. But if this is just a situation where Activision has the full and total rights to these games and to these characters, then I don't think there's any question that this is going to be on Xbox One at some point. It's just we just have to know the nitty-gritty details of the deal, which I'm not privy to. So this could really go either way at this point. But I think with this video that we saw and was taken down was just probably just the PC version of the game before it was ported over to the PlayStation.
What's your take, Frankie?
I actually think it is going to end up on Xbox at some point. I know that happened with the Skylanders stuff. You can get those and play those on Xbox now. So I also don't know that Activision is one to do, you know, an exclusive game in 2017. Activision loves money. So I could definitely see, you know, whether it be 6 months or a year from now, I think it's a safe bet Crash is going to come to Xbox. And given that thing is lit the world on fire on the PlayStation side of things, I think they are anticipating like that response on Xbox as well. So I think it'll be interesting to see like if this can keep that game, you know, the Crash series like selling, and if there's a genuine interest there, like cross platforms, I think that'll increase the chances of you guys getting a brand new Crash game. So I think it'd be I think it'd be very beneficial for them to bring that thing to Xbox, and I think it's coming. It's only a matter of time.
Bender, how do you... sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, real quick, Brent. The other interesting wrinkle in all of this is the fact that Crash and specifically these 3 games are like they're such rooted in PlayStation history. So these are like games that are a big part of the PS1 era of that system. So it would be a little strange if they popped up on the Xbox at some point for that reason. So yeah, but it definitely could happen.
Bender, how about you, man? You want to see this thing come over to Xbox One, which will probably help, create more Crash games in the future. I mean, it's already got that support now, but do you think this will make its way over to Xbox One?
I agree with the guys. I think it's a pretty safe bet that it will. I mean, if you look at the box, it doesn't say only for PlayStation. It doesn't have that little tag on it. So I think they probably just had some sort of limited exclusivity deal or something like that, and then they're just going to come out on Xbox later, which is fine. I mean, people who have never played the game will have a chance to check it out and get Crash out to more people. That's a good thing, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Question about that exclusive tag. Do they even use that anymore?
Yeah.
I think I saw it on the Omega collection. What was it? A Wipeout? I think I saw it on there.
Yeah, it's on there. Yeah.
Okay. Are they only using it for like first party stuff then, or?
No, because it's on like that Nobunaga's Ambition. I know it's on there.
So there's been several games recently that haven't had that tag. Like Neo comes to mind as well as a game that didn't have that on there. So it's kind of sporadic the way they use it. So I don't know if that means anything, but it's interesting.
Did Neo have a physical release?
Yeah.
It did? Oh, okay. Well.
Did they ever mention if Neo was coming to PC?
Don't think so.
I don't
They haven't said anything.
But even like I know Street Fighter was on PS4 and PC, and that has the console exclusive thing on it. So
I don't know.
You know what you mean? Yeah, it is weird. Because I know there's been a couple in the past that I do was like, that's weird.
It's kind of spotty because I don't think Nier had it on there either.
That one doesn't. No.
Where Microsoft confuses you by saying launch day exclusive, console exclusive, Sony confuses you by not saying anything at all. We're just not going to tell you.
You know what's funny is I think it was back at like the last time Sony had a Gamescom conference, and Jim Ryan he's the one who does all the European conferences for them. And when they were like, this was back when Ryan was still exclusive, when Hellblade was announced, like they ran through every single one of those games and they were like, this is a full console exclusive. This is a console launch. Like they were very specific about like what these are actually launching on. So I think it's funny that like over time, like they don't really do that anymore.
No, they don't say anything at all. They'll just let the professionals talk about it, right? That gives us something to talk about. So thanks, Sony, for being all secretive and whatnot. All right, moving along from Crash, Thumper is finally hitting Xbox One on August 18th.
Nice.
Which is awesome. And for those of you who are planning on getting an Xbox One X, you can expect to play Thumper at native 4K later this year when that system comes out. Thumper is freaking awesome. It's awesome on every system. It's awesome in VR. It's awesome on the PS4. It's awesome on the Nintendo Switch. It'll be awesome on the Xbox One and the Xbox One X. So Thumper is just a fantastic game. It's an awesome experience. It's an awesome soundtrack. The gameplay is incredibly intense. Incredibly intense, especially some of them later levels. You will have a seizure at some point playing that game because it is absolutely
there you go.
Insane. I'm sure that's what they put on the box. You will shit your pants. So definitely August 18th, pick up Thumper on Xbox One. That game is awesome. Bleed is hitting the Xbox One on August 24th. This is a twin-stick action platformer that lets you shoot freely in one direction while triple air dodging around bullets in another, while also slowing down time to boot. Boyce, I know you thought this game looked pretty good. Actually, it looks awesome from what we've seen in the trailer here. What's your take on Bleed, man?
Yeah, it looks really good. Apparently, this was an Xbox Live indie game at some point in the past, which was I believe that was the 360 platform where independent developers kind of developed and published their own games. So this was apparently one of the really good ones on there, and now it's getting a full-on release for the Xbox One. Yeah, love the pixel art style. Love the the high octane action. Just looks like a really, really fun game. Flying around with the jetpack, bullet hell enemies, that kind of stuff. It looks like a good time. Definitely something I would get into.
Frankie, any interest in this one, man?
Yeah, it looks like it'll be a lot of fun. Don't know if I'm gonna pick it up right away, but it's definitely on my radar.
Mm-hmm. August 24th. That's everything is coming out in August. Everyone's trying to get out ahead of that fall rush.
It's a rough August this year, man.
Brutal August. Very, very brutal.
Destiny 2, man. It causes things.
Yeah, people are making moves. Everyone's getting their games out before the rush. And the last bit of Xbox news, if you eat at Taco Bell, you could win an Xbox One X. I already eat at Taco Bell, so I'm probably going to win an Xbox One X with how much money I'm going to drop at Taco Bell. But beginning August 31st, each Taco Bell $5 box will include a unique code for consumers to text in for a chance to win the new Xbox One X. Boxes will be available during the promotion from August 31st to October 4th at participating Taco Bell locations while supplies last. Throughout the duration of the promotion, a potential winner will be notified on average of every 10 minutes. Winners will be the first to get their hands on the Xbox One X, as well as win Forza Motorsport 7 and a 3-month Xbox One Game Pass subscription with their console. Quick show of hands. Like, honestly, I know PlayStation ran this before with the PS4. Do any of you guys know anybody that has won one through Taco Bell?
No.
Nope.
On average of every 10 minutes from August 31st to October 4th, I feel like I would know somebody at some point.
Especially with the amount of people that I think all of us know that eat Taco Bell
Yeah.
pretty frequently with us. So,
I mean, I know a lot of gamers who eat Taco Bell, and every 10 minutes. How many hours are in it? That's 6.
Brent, you're gonna hurt yourself.
144.
Just let it go.
I got it. 144, I think. Yeah,
Just let it go, man. It's okay. You got this.
But 144 a day from August 31st until October 4th. I feel like I would know somebody. That's a lot of people.
Dude, but there's a Taco Bell on every corner in every city across the entire country. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of Taco Bells.
I feel it would be like the 6 degrees of separation. Like, I would know somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody who won one of these systems. Like, I'm not buying into these deals anymore. But Frankie, you gonna buy some Taco Bell for $5 starting on August 31st?
yeah, I mean, I'll just keep living life like normal. That's fine.
This doesn't change for a lot of folks. If anything, I'm going to double my intake, and I'm going to look a lot fatter on October 4th.
Yeah, lunch options
that winter
just grown.
Yeah, put on that winter poundage to keep warm. Bender, you going to double your Taco Bell intake?
I think so, yeah. I'm going to definitely amp up my Taco Bell visits. Now, just having said that, last time they did one of these promotions, I think it was a PS4 bundle or something. Maybe the Uncharted bundle, maybe.
They ran out of, I think it was for the Pro or the Gold one.
Yeah, the gold one.
Yeah, the gold one. That's what it was. Yeah. So I went there and I was like, yeah, I'll have the $5 box, blah, blah, blah. I get up there. They hand me a bag. I'm like, you don't have the box? They're like, no, we ran out of boxes. I was like, man, you could have told me that.
I'm still going to eat it, but...
yeah, I was like, I still want the food, but come on, man. The whole reason I ordered the box was for the box itself.
You just call him and tell him to send me a PS4. This is like the 100th time I've been here this month.
Well, that's the way I figure it. I mean, it's a $5 box, so I'm going to buy 100 of them between August 31st and October 4th, and I will have paid for an Xbox One X. I would expect to at least win one. So 100 boxes between August 1st and October 4th, I think that's doable. I don't think my doctor will agree, but it's doable.
I'd say between the
nice
four of
knowing
us,
you guys.
that's been a thing. So I think if we don't win one, this contest is just a giant lie.
You know, we should all do that. Let's all spend $5 a day from August 31st to October 4th. And if none of us wins, this whole thing is bull. There's no way.
I'm game. I like quesadillas.
You know, I thought I saw people on Twitter say they don't like quesadillas. They're like bag. I like quesadillas, man.
Those are awesome.
Obviously, it's a small sample size, but I was just like, man, how can you bag on quesadillas?
Just block them. Those people don't need a Taco Bell.
Yeah, if
You
I don't
need that kind of negativity in your life.
Yeah.
Obviously they have a shitty opinion. If they don't like quesadillas, I'm not going to care what they think about something else. So yeah, that's a very good. That's a valid point. Muted. So, but that's it. That's it for this week's show. Lots of good stuff to talk about this week. Boyce, you will not be present next week.
I will not be.
That's weak.
Will not be here.
How?
You out of town?
You'll kind of be here.
I'll kind of be here. That's true.
There's a very good possibility Boyce will be with us in some way. But we don't want to talk about it. We're just saying he might be here in some fashion.
You tease you.
I know, right? Very teaserific. But Mr. Boyce, where can we find you gaming and tweeting?
As always, Brent, I will be not tweeting at Piccolo930. It's my PSN ID as well, Piccolo930. It's where you can find me on the Switch as well, under some insane friends code. Also, a friendly reminder, the Tuesday Night Indie Spotlight this week, Graceful Explosion Machine, 10 p.m. Eastern, on our YouTube channel. So make sure you hop over there and check that out. I'm still working my way through Sundered as well. I was hoping to have the review up for the game, but I did not realize this was like a 20-hour game. So I am in the midst of playing through this incredibly epic game right now, which is far bigger than I anticipated it will be. So I'll finish that as soon as I can, get my full written review out at some point in the near future, hopefully. But I haven't forgotten about that as well.
Terrible time to ask, but has that patch done anything?
I don't 100% know yet. There's another patch that just came out, so
yeah,
I fired it up a little bit before the show here, and I ran into the hitch a few times, but it was not as pronounced as it has been in the past. So I feel like either they're just cleaning up the hitches in general, or they've shortened the hitch at this point where it's not like this full like second or two where the screen, judders and it's very jarring. It was just it was a minor hitch here and there from the brief time I spent with it before the show here. But I want to get in there tomorrow. I'll spend a lot more time with it, see how it's coming along. But once you get into the game and you start playing with it, like it's something you can deal with. It's unfortunate that it's there, but hopefully with this latest patch, it'll alleviate a lot of the issues. But just briefly before the show here, I spent 10-15 minutes with it, and it seemed like it was running pretty solid with just a few hiccups here and there.
Cool.
Good to know. Good to hear. Mr. Holt.
I'm on Twitter at Bender_guitar. You can find me on the PlayStation Network and Nintendo Network at me_Bender, and on Xbox Live at meBender82.
Franklin.
You can find me on Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation Network at Viper Strike, or you could go on your Nintendo Switch and enter the friend code 5706 70216911 and friend me on there. Thanks,
go.
Moody. I'm glad Moody asked because that's the only reason I pulled it up.
Nintendo. Dear Nintendo, did you see how annoying that was? How Frankie had to read that off? Fix that ASAP. You can find me on Twitter, The Dude 1979, PlayStation Network, and Nintendo Switch, The Dude 79. I'm not reading off my code. And Xbox Live, The Real Dude 79. I'll be streaming Hellblade Monday night, Tuesday morning at midnight. Hold on.
Brent, real quick, we have some late breaking news here. Dragon Quest Builders 2 has been announced for PS4 and Switch.
Ooh.
Wow. Really?
Yep.
All right.
It's happening.
Breaking news. The perk of live recording news. You get it as it happens a day after we record it. So, thank you, Mr. Boyce. Make sure you visit the website, www.shortpause.com. Follow us on Twitter @TheShortPause. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Short Pause Gaming. Also on Twitch, Short Pause Gaming. And on Mixer. Frankie, what is it?
Short Pause Live?
No, it's Short Pause Gaming now. You are fired.
Knew it.
Wait, what is it on Twitch?
Short Pause Gaming. I changed it.
Which one was it on YouTube?
Oh my God. Okay, I'm done with you guys. No more. Check out this podcast. It's on iTunes, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, and Google Play. If you like this podcast, Like if you really like it, go over to iTunes.
I really like this podcast.
I know you do. And you still haven't gone over and given us a fake 5-star review. But no, if you, the listener, really likes this podcast, go over to iTunes, write us a 5-star review. Tell us what you like about the show. If you're not quite ready to give us a 5-star review, that's fine. We don't want a fake one like Boys puts up. Send us an email, podcast@shortpause.com, or go to the website, come right into the podcast post, and sound off in the comments. We need to hear from you. It's the only way the show is going to get better. If you got questions, send them in. We'll read them on the air. If you got feedback about the show, things you don't like, if I'm too fat, let me know. I'll do my best to try to help you out. For Frankie Ayler, Bender Holt, Ben Boyce, I'm Brent Felsing. Thanks again for listening and watching the Short Pause Gaming Podcast. We'll talk to you next week. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye-bye.